Some motherfuckers always try to ice skate uphill.
We did it. All right.
I had
Welcome
to.
to. It's always good to start the podcast with a motherfucker. Welcome to the Mind Your Movies podcast. I'm Ryan,
I'm Shane.
and today we're talking Marvel. We're talking from its origins with Blade from 1998, which was Shane's pick, all the way to maybe the best recent Marvel movie there has been, which is Guardians of the Galaxy 3. We're going to talk all about those. Um, but before we get into that,
Yes. Well, that is topic for this episode. We will have spoiler discussions on those
yes,
movies. I think, I mean, I feel like we'll be spoiling the entire Guardians trilogy just because they're inherently spoiling the third one. But for Blade, I think we can try to keep the spoilers to only the first Blade, and we'll talk about two and three, but we will try to avoid spoilers on that one. But on those ones. But yes. So it is Blardians of the Galaxy, obviously. That's the title of the episode. So we're starting with Blade, then Guardians of the Galaxy. And before we get into that, we have a couple other things we've seen recently that we want to talk about. Do you want to kick it off, Ryan?
sure, I'll start us off. I'm going to start off with Crime 101, which is the new.
Oh, I wanted to
Yeah,
see this. It looks cool.
it's pretty awesome. It's pretty
All right,
awesome.
all right.
It's the new sort of, well, I guess it's a crime movie, right? There you go. It's got a lot going on. It's got a pretty stacked cast. We've got Chris Hemsworth is like kind of one of the main characters with Mark Ruffalo. I mean, he's like it's not really a spoiler. Chris Hemsworth is like the criminal, and Mark Ruffalo is like the cop, right? And there you go. And the movie pretty much follows that dynamic, right? Mark Ruffalo is kind of like fully in on this idea that this criminal is like some like really wants to get him, right? And the whole police, all the rest of the police guys are like, dude, shut up, do your job, right? And but he won't give it up. You know, he's the one good person in the office left. And the movie's pretty fucking awesome.
Nice. All right. It sounds like Heat. I feel like people have been comparing it to Heat a lot. So, but I'm down for Heat 101.
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely inspired if even a little formulaic, but it's pretty awesome. I mean, I don't know. You know, sometimes you go into a
Nice.
movie knowing the formula and it still is about the ride, you know, and this one delivers for sure.
Nice. Good. I am looking forward to seeing that one. Hopefully I'll be seeing that this week. Um, I have to update the show. Last year, well, actually, our next episode will be our spring slash summer 2026 preview. So we're gonna be talking about some movies that we're looking forward to, and that'll be next week's episode. So subscribe if you're not subscribed. Uh, that's always a fun episode to do. I always enjoy looking forward to some movies. And last year, I was looking forward to A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey, the Kogonada movie starring Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie, directed by Kogonada. That sounds great. That sounds like it'll be a really great movie. And that's what I thought. And then it came out and everyone hated it. And I never saw it in theaters. And it's on Netflix now and I watched it and it wasn't good. It was bad. Kogonada made two like 5-star movies and then just this movie is so the script is so bad like
Wow.
that it just completely tanks the entire movie. It's well shot, but the characters are annoying. The relationship is not believable, and pretty much anything to do with the relationship kind of sucked. There are other elements of these characters getting into like their family relationships in the past and stuff because they're going through these doors and it's all these fantasy sequences. They're going to past times in their lives together. So it's kind of a cool idea for a movie, but it just the execution, it mainly in the script, I think. The script just really this one fell apart. A lot of bad lines. No, how do you have Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie and there's just no convincing chemistry between them at all? Ah,
Wow.
really, really, yeah, really a disappointment. So I like to try to stay positive on this show, but I felt like I had to bring that one up because it was mentioned in our most anticipated last year, and it did not come through, sadly enough. So, sometimes that's just the way it goes.
That is a bummer though. And I remember thinking it kind of had some Life of Chuck vibes, or whatever, or like
I
it
never
seemed
saw Life of
like,
Chuck, so
yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I kind of had the idea like, oh, it seems like it's very sincere. Maybe it's like a little corny, but maybe, maybe people are being a little cynical with this movie. And then I watched it and it's just it's pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, I
It,
wanted to see it mostly because I was like, oh, kind of has some like life affirmingness, maybe of like, similar to the Life of Chuck. And then I also saw Pretty Bad Things, so I didn't end up seeing it in theaters. And with this review, I'm kind of like, all right, maybe I don't need to make the time for it.
yeah, I will say cinematographer Benjamin Loeb, really talented guy. Even this movie, like it looks nice. The cinematography is nice, but it's really just the script that I think is the nail in the coffin. Not that I don't know. It just kills everything because it's
Yeah.
kind of like everything is based around the script, and then the characters are kind of annoying, and like the relationship doesn't work. So then everything, all the good stuff, kind of just falls apart. It doesn't have a good foundation to rest on.
Hmm.
The foundation
Well,
is cracking, and there's a sinkhole underneath, and then the house just falls in.
that wow, that analogy just went hard. All
Thanks.
right. I feel like I gotta hold on to my seat just in case. Um,
Yeah.
Luckily no sinkholes in my room here. But uh next thing I'll bring up is a movie I've actually talked about on the podcast before. Because I watched it for the first time last year, but I got to see it on film, which was really fun. And this is Paths of Glory. So this is one of Kubrick's earliest movies. Uh it's a World War One kind of um like war slash kind of political drama type thing. Um, it's kind of an insane movie. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's pretty awesome. Um, it's very like poignant and like on the nose on a lot of its themes and stuff. And I think it shows maybe Kubrick's uh uh like dissident nihilism in humanity, maybe the best out of maybe even all of his movies, even Full Metal
Yeah.
Jacket.
Very cynical view of humanity. Yes.
Yeah.
And
And
people in power.
and based on a true story, which is so it's like this is like Kubrick's like most this like heart wrenching depiction of how bad humans can be, and it's like yeah, actually it's like real. It's like this is just what happened. That sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. There you
Um,
go. Cool that you got to
yeah,
see it projected on film, though.
yeah. So if anyone's in the Boston area, Harvard Film Archive is doing like Kubrick showings for the next few months. So try to make your way out there, see something on film. It's always a cool thing. Um, But yeah, also I guess I didn't really explain this movie, but if anyone hasn't seen it, definitely watch it. I think it's an almost a maybe a hidden. It's not really a hidden gem. I mean, I think it's like really well received, but it's not often in the same talks as like 2001 or Full Metal Jacket, Barry Lyndon, like his later stuff from Kubrick. And um, I think in my opinion, it might be like his first masterpiece. I know Shane, you probably like The Killing quite a bit. Probably maybe.
I like the killing a lot. The killing's one of my favorites. Also your camera kind of froze, but we'll just go with it. Hopefully you're still there. But yeah,
Yeah.
the killing is sick. Uh, yeah, your camera's still frozen. Don't know what's going on. I'm just gonna keep going.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, that's all that matters.
All right, cool. All right, now we can continue the podcast. Oh man, he's back. Dang. I
Got
gotta look at
him.
you the rest of the podcast. Come on,
Yeah.
man. Dang.
I was hoping I'd get you saying something bad about me while I was gone.
All right, all right. The only other thing I wanted to mention is this documentary I watched on Netflix called Queen of Chess. Documentary about Judith Polgar, the probably the greatest female chess player of all time. Shows doesn't get too much into her personal life. It's only like 90 something minutes long. It's not like an extended mini series or anything like that. So it doesn't get too much into like her personal life that much, but it's mostly about her come up, people doubting her because she's a woman and her overcoming those obstacles. She grew up in Hungary in the 70s and 80s during communist regime, so there was uh a lot of they didn't like that the Polgars were kind of doing their own thing. They were homeschooled, their dad was kind of doing an experiment with his children where he just like homeschooled them and they just studied chess all day, every day, because he wanted to make them great. And he was like, "This is how all the greatest people of history became great, is that they like specialized in one thing." So they specialized in chess. So that's why all three sisters were great at chess. Um, but yeah, it talks about just her her chess career, her sort of rivalry with Gary Kasparov, who was the best chess player in the world at the time. And it's just a really solid documentary. If you don't like chess and if you don't like women, this one's not for you. If you hate women and you hate chess, probably steer clear from this one. But if you like women or you like chess, you'll probably enjoy this. So there you go.
Wow.
Solid document. Nothing, not breaking new ground on this documentary. A lot of just talking heads and archival footage telling the story. But they are interviewing, like Gary Kasparov has interviewed Judith Polgar and her sisters and her parents. They're all interviewed, so they have access to everything. So it is like a well put together documentary. Very nice, just solid, good documentary. Nothing groundbreaking, but I enjoyed it because I like chess. So kind of in the demographic, I guess.
Nice. And you like women.
Yeah, sometimes. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, sometimes I'm super misogynistic. No, I'm just kidding. I came for the chess, but I endured the feminist aspect of the movie. No, I'm just kidding. No, it is cool to see them be like to hear how crazily misogynistic like all the players and just it was normal to just be like, are women just like stupid? Like, why can't women be good at chess? And then everyone's like, yeah, women are just like garbage. They can't be as good as men at chess. And then the pole guys are kind of like, they shatter those myths and show that, anyone can be good at chess if you devote an insane amount of time to it, which is just the nature of chess. But anyway, good documentary. I liked it, so I wanted to recommend it.
Nice.
It's called Queen
Cool.
of Chess.
Queen of Chess. And that's on Netflix?
Hmm.
Nice. Cool. Well, I
Anything
guess
else you want?
now I'm ready to move into Blade.
Let's go. We
Let's
got a
do
lot to
it.
talk about. We got a
Yeah, we
lot
do.
to talk about because
We,
we have two movies, but in a way we have like four or no, six movies.
six, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
in a way, we're really talking about two trilogies. I mean, like you said,
Yeah.
we're really not going to go maybe as hard into spoilers on Blade 2 and Trinity or whatever, but
Yeah.
obviously all of Guardians are
Yeah.
full
Well,
spoiler, kind of.
yeah, we'll still mostly just talk about the third one, but I think we can talk about each series in
As a whole.
general and our as a whole. Yeah. Interestingly, these are almost like inverse for me for my reaction. For me, I really like the first Blade movie. I it's got some cheesy effects and stuff like that, but I just really enjoy it. I think the story is interesting. Wesley Snipes is awesome. There's like so many great scenes and memorable scenes. So it's just a really solid like and it's very different from where the series goes, I think. I think it gets more comic booky as it goes on. And for me, I think the first one's the best, then the second one is a step down, and then the third one is maybe a couple steps down. Where the third one is really bad. But then Guardians for me, first one, don't like it at all. Found it annoying. Second one, hey, this is actually okay. Still kind of annoying, but it's better. And then the third one kind of knocked my socks off. So Blade was kind of a downward trajectory for the trilogy. Guardians, upward trajectory.
That's funny. And one, glad to hear that about Guardians. But two, it's actually funny. I think I have kind of a different type of curve where I have for Blade, I feel like I like the second one the most. I like the first one
Mm.
quite a bit, but then I like the second one the most. So there's a small little bump. And then we don't need to talk about
Sure,
the
yeah, it's a
yeah,
cliff.
like
It's a
Jesus Christ.
it's
But
a cliff. It's a cliff.
for Guardians, I like the first one. The second one's kind of a dip down for me. So kind of opposite of Blade, where we have the dip up, I have a dip
Oh
down in
yeah.
Guardians. And then Guardians 3 is awesome. It's my favorite of those. But so yeah, kind of an inverse where like I feel like the middle one is the kind of standout one, I guess, for me, where like it's either a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit better, a little bit worse, and then kind of one end. And ironically the opposite end. So Blade, I like the first one the most. Guardians, I like the third one the most.
Yeah. There you
So
go. So there is an inverse of it, just a more complicated inverse.
yeah, yeah. I can draw some
There you
graphs
go.
later, you know.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. All right. So why do you like the second one more than the first one? Because I
You
think that's a
know,
common take. And I watched them. I actually watched all three in one day. It was just President's Day yesterday from when we're recording. And I just was like, you know what? Had a busy weekend. Time to watch all three Blades in one day. And I did it, and it was a great time. Even though Blade Trinity, I was ready for it to be over by then. But but yeah, I definitely was able to be like, yeah, I definitely like the first one more than the second one. I think partially because the first one is uh is less comic booky, I guess. It's very different from the second, I think. But anyway, why did you like the second one? Did you enjoy the more comic bookiness to it?
yeah, I think I liked that kind of quite a bit. I also liked I think I just generally kind of like the story of the second one a little bit better. I thought it was like interesting to have those,
Oh.
in the second one, if you're not watching the second one for this, the second one, Blade teams up with vampires and is fighting.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Oh, see, I kind of liked it. And then there's some cool twists. And I
I
was
didn't like
like,
the twist either.
oh, see, I was like in on those. I was
Okay.
pretty
Yeah.
much, once stuff started happening in the second one, I was like fully there the entire time. There was like no bars hold, nothing. I was like totally in on it. And but in the first one, and this will be interesting to hear your thoughts because in the first one, I feel like there's once you get into the temple thing at the end, so
Mm.
there's this huge complex plan that the main bad guy has that involves this giant temple structure, Blade's blood, and a bunch of familiars getting killed, and then a bunch of vampires getting like,
Pure Bloods.
yeah, and their bat skeleton things coming out of them. I don't know, whatever. But I kind
Yeah.
of just got lost there and was kind of like not really into the special effects that were happening with like the bat things crawling out of and all this stuff. And I was kind of lost, and I was like, can we just get back to some slaughtering? And
Well, then they do.
yeah, and then I was a little bit back in, but I was kind of like like that temple scene kind of wore me out. I was like, I don't really give a shit about, like, I was just kind of lost. I didn't really care. I think I really
Mm.
didn't even understand what was happening. And
He, I mean, Deacon Frost worships some sort of an ancient blood god, they call it, and
yeah,
he needs Blade's blood to do some sort of a ritual to summon this demon or vampire blood god thing. And then that's what he wants to do.
but does it work? Does
I
he
don't know.
become that thing? It kind of feels,
I think it's yeah, I think he does because his body gets taken over and then he says something like I'm not Deacon or something like that. Or
yeah.
at the
And
end,
also,
maybe he
it's
gets
revealed that Blade's mom is around, and
yeah.
I feel like this whole and also
Full
the
spoilers for Blade, by the way.
yeah, well, and also the autopsy guy, like way in the beginning, is around.
Yeah,
They've
yeah,
been like
yeah.
keeping him around, and so I feel like there was
He's
just
like
like,
some weird like zombie version. He's like a shit version of a vampire. They're like these are like the shitty ones. We keep him in this cave.
yeah,
Yeah,
like clearly is just around essentially to kill the girl at the end. But
Karen.
Karen, thanks. Of course it's Karen. Um,
I liked Karen. I think Karen. I like the story of the first one much more than the story of the second one. The second one, I was kind of just like, well, obviously the vampires are gonna turn on him. I'm
see,
sorry if I'm spoiling Blade 2 for anyone that doesn't have half a brain. I mean, this guy, he's going to team up with the vampires. It's not like by the end of the movie, they're going to be like, hey, we're friends now.
see,
Obviously, that's not going to happen. So most of the movie was kind of like, there's not like they're trying to play with tension there, but there wasn't any actual tension for me. You know what I mean?
see, I kind of knew that it was going to happen, but I was like, kind of like what I was saying earlier about like sometimes the formula I'm in on it, right? Like,
Mm.
and I feel like I was kind of just like, hell yeah, like I can't wait for that fight scene to happen too, And I guess like it just felt more nonstop. Maybe the second one, like even when the big
Mm.
climax happened, I really, even in the second one, I really kind of didn't understand everything that was happening in the climax. Like I feel like the plots are pretty convoluted in the movies,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I
A
was
lot
still
of
like,
like weird vampire lore that's just kind of like nonsense. Yeah.
yeah. And then oh my god, number three. Oh,
Yeah,
uh,
they bring Dracula into it.
Yeah.
The original Dracula, who's like an ancient being or something. Yeah.
Yeah, three opens with them like in a tomb in the desert, reading cuneiform on the walls. Oh, guys, come on.
Well, it really
Um,
starts with a Ryan Reynolds short monologue, which is where you know that the movie's gonna be horrible. The Blade Trinity, they made the genius idea of, all right, this is the Blade trilogy. Let's do as little Blade as possible and as much Ryan Reynolds as possible, and that'll be a good formula for a movie. And guess what? It didn't work out. I'm not shocked.
yeah, it did
But
not
like,
work out.
and the whole shtick of the movie is Ryan Reynolds is being annoying, and Blade is annoyed at Ryan Reynolds. And for some reason, you're supposed to enjoy watching that. And instead of just being like also annoyed by this character and his stupid quips. And this is the thing with the Blade trilogy. This is my whole theory. Is that the Blade trilogy from 1998 to 2004, such a short period of time, all before the modern MCU starts in with Iron Man 2008. It shows the trajectory of a superhero franchise that would plague almost any superhero franchise, besides maybe like the Dark Knight trilogy. You know, some things have avoided it, but it starts off as like dark and gritty and serious, and then the second one they add a lot more stuff. And like it's more action packed, but also kind of doesn't make any sense and is not as good as the first, in my opinion. And then Blade Trinity, they bring in a quippiness and a Ryan Reynolds character that really annoys you and makes you want to like break your Blu-ray disc in half. And then the series is garbage and it just completely goes that way. And I think that is like almost the trajectory of those. Like think about the first Iron Man. They're I mean, I guess actually like
Yeah.
Tony Stark is kind of that annoying character in all those movies, isn't he? He's like
Well,
snarky
yes,
and
but also, I mean, Iron Man 1 is a dark movie. Like
yeah.
he's a recovering alcoholic. He was literally like in a war zone. He has like PTSD from that.
Yeah.
Um, and and it does get, yeah, I mean, I think it does get more comic booky, right? Also, I think Marvel is like one thing that happens in the like Captain America and Iron Man and all that stuff, right? One thing that's happening behind the scenes is Marvel, the MCU is learning what they want to do and stuff too. So like things are getting not just bigger scale, like oh, there has to be more combat and stuff, but like now there has to be this thing introduced to let us build up to this
All these other
thing.
characters, yeah.
Yeah, and so I think you're right though. Like, yeah, I think that
But
yeah,
I think the first Blade movie, like it almost doesn't even really play like a superhero movie very much. It kind of just plays as like a horror action like thriller. Like it almost has more in common with something with like I don't know, like I'm trying like The Crow, I guess. I guess The Crow is a comic book movie, right? It's based on a comic
yeah.
book.
But like
But
Resident Evil, I feel like those
yeah.
movies very different in like how they're executed, but I think they're kind of like a horror actiony thing that's
Yeah, but the I mean I've only seen the first Resident Evil and I thought it was like terrible. So
yeah.
I don't know if that's a fair
Well,
comparison, but
no, I
yeah.
mean, yeah, it's not a good movie, but I mean, it's hard to
Doesn't have Wesley Snipes being the coolest character maybe of all time.
well,
Eh?
I don't know. All time it's tough, dude. That's
Name a character cooler than Blade.
Deadpool.
All right. This has been the Mind Your Movies podcast. It's over. It's a wrap. This is the end. I just blow my brains out like live. Put out the episode.
Yeah, your body disintegrates though, like a vampire. Turns
Yeah,
out
I've been
you were a
a
vampire this whole time.
I've been a secretly been a vampire the whole time. Oh
Which
man. All right.
so by the way, the special effects are hilarious in a way in which they're both kind of cool and also do not age well. But
Yeah, the special effects have not aged super well.
also kind of cool at times. Like
I
the
will say
vampires
the
disintegrating, kind of awesome.
I like the vampires disintegrating actually,
Yeah.
but the second one they start doing the this like sped up like CGI. There's actually one little bit where there's like an extended shot where it's just like PS2 Blade fighting a guy and it's like really bad. So there are those moments in the second one. The first one goes pretty minimal on the CGI, but you're right that the temple scene has the most CGI and it's
Yeah.
probably aged the worst. I watched it on Blu-ray. This is the first time I've ever watched the Blade movies on Blu-ray. I feel like I've only ever seen them on like TV or like DVD back in the day. And it actually looked really good. Like the cinematography actually looked nice. And I thought the movie was actually like very well shot and it looked pretty good.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I think Pretty
A lot
cool
of
shots. Pretty
blues.
yeah, good lighting. Good I think the lighting and like the colors help with the tone a lot. I think throughout.
Yeah,
Um, and cool things like I'm thinking of actually the second one here, but like a cool scene of like them going through the sewers and like I feel like there's a lot of moments like that where the in one and two at least. The third one, actually speaking of the cinematography in the third one is kind of pretty bland, but
yeah,
anyways, in one and two where the cinematography is like they're doing really cool stuff with shadows and colors and hiding things and stuff like that. And I like it.
yeah. And well, to talk about the first movie in particular, the opening scene might be one of and this is also a scene that is like out of a horror movie. Like this is a cold open with random character getting brought to the slaughter. And this scene is like one of the best opening scenes of any superhero movie ever. There's this idiot gets lured in by a vampire lady through the meat locker to this rave, and the blood comes raining down, and then Blade just comes in and starts kicking ass.
Insane. The
Yeah,
bloodbath was awesome.
yeah.
Yeah,
He just comes in and kills everyone. It's awesome.
kind of insane though how I was actually thinking about this. And I'm going to say two contradictory things. But this is what my mind thought, my thought process at the time. I was like, wait, why are like half of these vampires not even trying to fight him? Like, if they all just like attacked him, he'd be fucked. But then the other part of me is like, wait, this is a rave. All these people that are running away are like probably like high as hell or like totally not like they're party goers. They're not like combat people. They're not here to fight this guy. They're just going to get to safety, right? They're just trying to run faster than the person next to you, so you're not the one shot with the silver bullet. Um. So
Yeah.
that was my mindset, though. I was like, at first, I was like, wait, why are they all running and not attacking it? But
Yeah. Also, some of them could be familiars. They may not all
mm,
be vampires, so that could be part of the reason that they're running. But yeah, also probably not a lot of heroism from the vampires. Probably a lot of self-preservation and trampling over people to get out. I don't think vampires are the most heroic uh, species.
yeah. But this is also when we get to see for the first time the disintegration happening, and also just there's like a
Yeah.
really cool shot where he like kicks some guy after like kicks it might kick like a stake into some guy, and they like fly into like a metal railing, and just the shots and the cinematography with
Disintegrates on
the
it.
and the cinematography with the action here is really cool. It's really well choreographed, if not a little goofy, uh, but it's a superhero. It's kind of a cool mix too of like martial art movie and the superhero movie, and
Yeah, yeah.
action and horror, and there's a lot of stuff going on. So
Yes, exactly. It's kind of a combination of all these different genres. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I love that he's just shotgunning vampires. And then he does leave one sort of alive, which is kind of stupid, but I guess it's just the movie has to go on. I get it. But maybe like stab the guy with a stake instead of just lighting him on fire. But it does make for one of the creepiest images in the movie of the charred like in the hospital when
yeah,
Karen and Curtis are there, and then the charred body gets up. Like that is actually like genuinely scary looking. Like
that
that's the
was
thing with this
awesome.
movie. Yeah, right? Like this movie actually kind of works as like a horror movie, I feel like, with that type of imagery. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think really a cool idea to have the vampire that was burnt actually come back, and then later on come back and like having regenerated the skin and the arm that got cut off and everything, and really grotesque, but pretty awesome. Like
Yeah.
definitely the most horrific piece of the movie too, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Maybe also when Karen is thrown into the pit with the zombie Curtis, that was pretty fucked up.
Yeah, that was pretty creepy too, but very dark.
Yeah,
So it's a little harder to see everything, but the charred like not corpse, whatever, charred body is like just in a hospital, so you can like see its face and like the eyes, and it's pretty
yeah.
pretty creepy.
And I think it's like there's some tension obviously, but I don't think it's very obvious that the guy's going to jump up. I mean, I think you would be totally in your right to have believed that that vampire was dead.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think it definitely a pretty effective scene for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And then he saves Karen. He throws her across a building,
Yeah,
like 5 stories down across just onto like some stuff that's on a
just
roof,
yeah,
and he
there's some
just
cardboard and crap. Like,
just yeets her across, and the cops are just shooting at them indiscriminately. Which is like, if Blade is theoretically a criminal with an innocent hostage, you probably shouldn't just be unloading your like automatic weapons at them. But also the cops are they kind of establish that the cops are a lot of them are familiars and basically run by the vampires.
yeah,
But then that kind of introduces Karen, and I think Karen being in the movie is actually like an important aspect of like what works well about the story for me, in that like she doesn't know anything about this world. So Blade and Whistler are explaining a lot of things to her. So it's an organic way for the movie to explain a lot of stuff to us and give us some exposition without it feeling unnatural.
yeah. I can agree with that. I mean, I think she has to play the like fish out of water character, right? Give us something. They give her like mace, and they're like, yeah, it's like silver
It's
something,
garlic.
garlic and silver dust or something. And yeah, cool. Like, yeah, tell me what you got going on. I'm in. But I do feel like, I mean, I don't. I think there were. I think that some of. I think this movie suffers, in my opinion, a little bit from almost over explaining some of the stuff where it's like, yeah, I get it. You're shooting them with silver and stuff, or like, I get that you're able to disintegrate them. I don't actually need to know every, like, it's almost like trying to science out like what's happening. And I'm kind of
Mm.
just like, I'm here. You don't need to sell me on how
Yeah,
these vampires are dying. Like,
there's a lot of times throughout the trilogy they'll be like the isotope in the
right.
hemoglobin is inverted, and that's when we're gonna get the cure for,
Yeah.
there's a little science air quotes gobbledygook that kind of is explaining all this nonsense. But yeah, I guess I didn't find that it like uh brought down the pacing for me, but
Good.
maybe it did for you.
Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot, but a little bit. I mean, I think, and I kind of almost had the opposite effect with Karen because of that. I think where I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to hear more about what's worked, like how this works, or I'm gonna have to like,
Mm,
whatever. But
I get
uh,
that.
yeah, there was one scene a little bit later when um, I don't remember exactly what was happening, but Blade and Karen went into this like uh club, and they just like march
Yeah.
right to the back, right? And
Yeah, with the
and
Jap, it's like a Japanese like vampire club.
yeah,
And there's
and
like weird, like they're like little girls almost. They're like dressed like little girls. Very weird. Yeah.
yeah, and Blade essentially just like marches his way through the back, like he's just like a like just an absolute powerhouse. He's just like a like sheer brute force machine. He just kicks guys into walls and everything. And she's literally just like walking behind him, and he's like killing everyone. And then he like clears out a room. And then moments later, she just walks in, and I was like, all right, is she needed in this? Like, why didn't she just stay in the van or whatever? Like,
Jeez.
I
Misogynistic.
no, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's like you just now you need to slow it down so that she comes in behind in the room, and then he explains something or whatever. And I was like, I feel like that's part of what I liked more about number two, where it was just like everything was like, yeah,
Hmm.
here's more crap, and then it's like, all right, here's more crap, here's more, like,
Yeah.
just
I think
keep
I
going.
just didn't enjoy the crap in two as much. Like all
Yeah.
all the new characters in two, I was like, I didn't care about any of them. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
like it. Like there's like the girl in two who's like a pure blood vampire. And it's like, are we supposed to care about this vampire? Like, why should I give a fuck about any of these people? Like Blade should
Yeah.
just shotgun them all.
See, I also didn't really care about the people in two, but I was I was like, yeah, kill. but
Gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha.
but yeah, I don't know. I think
And
yeah,
I do like that so that they find out that the cop who he uses Karen as bait, so it kind of shows how Blade is very he's not heroic in the way that Superman or uh even like Batman in the 4 Batman movies that are prior to this, like they would not do this. This is kind of a little bit of a departure from the heroes, comic book heroes we've seen in movies previously. Because it's only really been Superman and Batman, and then like I think there's that crummy Fantastic Four movie maybe from like super cheap Captain America movie.
Mhm.
But like Blade is he's using this lady kind of as bait. Obviously he's gonna save her. But also he's killing vampires and he kills their familiars. So he kills humans too. So he's not, kind of an anti-hero. But yeah, the cop gets away because Karen kind of doesn't want him to doesn't want Blade to kill him or something like that. And then we have a great quote, which I didn't say at the beginning of the episode, but I'm going to say it now. You better wake up. The world you live in is just a sugar-coated topping. There's another world beneath it, the real world. And if you want to survive it, you better learn to pull the trigger. Love that. Great
Amazing.
movie. Also very 90s. This idea, I mean, think about it. The Matrix comes out the next year, and this thing is literally just saying, "Oh, the your real world is fake, and this is the real world underneath it." Same idea as like Fight Club or stuff like that. This sort of like anger at the world and like there's something real going on beneath it. Feel like it's a very 90s, like a little bit edgy, you know what I mean? People are wearing all leather and they're like their stuff, I don't know, black leather trench coats, very, very late 90s, edgy vibe, which I like.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if you watch this movie out of context, I think the CGI also like you. I think you would know the general five-ish year time frame that this was made, right? Like, um,
Yeah.
themes, execution, style, everything, right? Which is a good thing. I think it's nice to have it kind of living in that legacy.
Yeah.
Also, we haven't brought up uh, what was the things?
Yeah.
Pearl,
Yes.
the data recorder. No, the
Yeah. They're like I think Pearl might be like interpreting the ancient texts because they're trying
yeah,
to translate them so that they can awaken the La Magra, they call it.
yeah, and
And she's like a giant, or she, it, they, I don't know, whatever this creature is, well, I guess it's a vampire
yes,
because
it's a vampire.
they like torture it with the light. Um, but it's like this gigantic, probably over 1,000 pounds, just sitting in front of all these screens, and then yeah, they basically like torture her for information with UV light.
Yeah. Well, then there's this insane thing. So Blade's gonna blow down the door, right? And Pearl's like, "Oh no, whatever, don't go in there." And Blade's like, "Oh, I guess I'm gonna go in there." And but
Yeah.
meanwhile, Karen has the light and is torturing Pearl. And at one point, nothing else has happened, and she just starts shining. She like holds it onto him. I think Pearl might die. I forget,
Yeah,
but
I think they kill her. Yeah, kill
yeah,
Pearl. Yeah.
and Carrie is just going and going and going, and then
Yeah.
she looks over and Blade's like, and she's like, she moved or something, and
Yeah.
I was like, this is like in like Taken when Liam
They're
Neeson.
vampires, Ryan. They're vampires. They're pure evil. They murder people. She's trying to awaken a blood god to end humanity.
You can't just kill it. Like, why are you
She does
torturing it?
kill it.
In like the most brutal, grotesque way that she could.
So what?
It just felt like the classic like our heroes have to torture the bad guy, like in like Taken. He like straps the guy to the chair and like electrocutes him with the light switch or whatever a few times.
Yeah, that guy, that's like Jeffrey Epstein in that movie. They're like all working for Jeffrey Epstein. It's like, do you really care?
I don't know how much I really care, but it is like I feel like I like our heroes are just tortured people. Like I think in this they are also like anti-heroes anyways, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter as much, but it
They
did
are
feel.
anti-heroes and it's a vampire who's trying to destroy humanity. I don't think it really like it's just pure evil. That's kind of the whole point of the vampires. Because then you can just come in and shotgun them and then they disintegrate and you're like, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
They're not like human beings with families. They're like murderers. They're like evil, demonic vampire murderers. So I don't think it's really a problem. But it is, they definitely make fun of Pearl. There's also a fart joke with Pearl, pretty bad. That was probably the worst part of the movie. But yeah.
Yeah.
Fart joke very much felt out of place.
Yeah, because it's not they don't make any other like the comedy in the movie is like mostly like the quotes are awesome and stuff like that. There's really not a lot of like immature jokes. And that was one. There you go.
Yeah, I see your point. There is always the trope of our characters are torturing people, blah blah blah. But I don't think you should get your panties in a twist over this vampire. I think it's a little like, come on. This is a, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think it has to be a moral conundrum about the that it took a little bit too long to kill the vampire.
Yeah, yeah. Well, also Pearl, what a what a character design. Um
Yeah,
that was something. I did not and there's not really you don't really see anything else like that.
yeah. It's very random just to have it, but I feel like it's cool. It kind of like expands the world a little bit. It's like, oh, okay, I guess there's just like vampires that are like this somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder like what else is there, right? So,
Yeah. What else is going on in this world?
yeah.
Uh, I will say we haven't mentioned Udo Kier at all, who's sort of like
Mm.
the head of the like vampire board. There's like the board of vampires. It's like the vampire Illuminati. And Deacon Frost is like not a pure blood, and he does these raves, and they don't like the raves because they bring attention. And his death scene, awesome when
Oh yeah.
Deacon and the other vampires go out and they're wearing all black with the helmets so that they can be out apparently they can be out in daylight as long as they're all covered in black with enough clothing. I guess it makes sense. I mean, what is clothing but not what are walls but not really giant clothing?
Yeah. No, I'm in. Yeah.
All and they never none of these vampire movies ever get into moonlight.
Yeah.
They never address it, but that's okay. But what a great scene. They let him out and he's like on the near the water and there's like he like explodes. Cool scene.
Yeah. And that's kind of really when we realized just how powerful sunlight is in against vampires, right? And in the second movie, I think that becomes quite a bit more prominent, the sunlight piece. Because the in the second movie, the main bad things, I forget what they call them, but
They're like
they
super
are
vampires.
yes, super vamps. They are pretty much only affected by sunlight, so they have to use some different stuff there. But but I think that's like the most gruesome death that we see in this one is
Yeah, there's also like Karen toward the end of the movie, like Karen has made like some sort of a thing that you can inject and it like makes them explode. So like
oh yeah,
Blade
I kind
fights
of
like remember Blade fights like two people and he like stabs them with it and their like faces like explode almost like Arnold in Total Recall.
yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
was
I didn't
cool.
really get the point of that though. Like why'd she make this serum? Couldn't he just silver them?
I don't know. I think she's trying to find a cure so that she can survive because she's been bit. So they gave her the serum with like garlic in it. But then at some point Whistler's like, you only got like 24 to
Mm,
48 hours left. You're probably not going to make it. I tried my best, kid, or something like that. So I think she's trying to find a serum to uh to save herself because she's a hematologist.
right. I remember I guess I kind of remember it happening, but then I was like, I didn't really understand why Blade was using that stuff because I was like, he was pretty good at killing these things without this stuff. But I'm not that I mean, it's not a problem. I mean, I was just kind of like, I didn't really understand why he wasn't just like silvering them in the face. And but
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was cool. Their heads exploded. They got really big and red, and they were gonna explode.
they did. And then he needed that for the main bad guy. So
Yeah, right. He needed it for to beat that guy.
maybe that was the point. I don't really know. Whatever.
Yeah, that might have been it. That might have had something to do with it. Because
Maybe
didn't
yeah.
she needed Blade's blood for the serum
Right.
as well. That was something in there.
Yeah. Right. And then Blade's blood was
Phew.
used for the I don't know, whatever. I yeah.
Blade's blood was also part of the prophecy or whatever that was, the trying to awaken the blood god demon thing. Yeah. But also, I will say, you say the sun's really powerful. Deacon Frost can just put on a lot of sunblock and he's fine.
Oh yeah, he does that. And then
Yeah.
he throws the girl at the bus or something,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I
Yeah. And
forgot
then
about that.
Blade has to be heroic, saves the little girl. Deacon Frost runs away.
I forgot about the sunblock thing. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. Also, Deacon at one point says, spare me the Uncle Tom routine. So that was tough. That was the biggest yikes of the entire movie. Because he's like, you're not being a real vampire. Like, don't be a vampire, Uncle Tom. Real tough. I mean, he's the villain, so that's the point. But the point is him being racist. But yeah, kind of crazy.
Um,
Also, in the second one, uh, there's a vampire who makes a racist remark to Blade. Kind of a
yes,
common recurring theme.
yeah, and that's the one Blade then like attaches a explosive device to the back of the guy's head.
Yeah, it's Ron Perlman. Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. That's
yeah.
right. Um,
But yeah, anyway, I just have that written down in my notes, so that's why I brought it up.
yeah. Um, uh, well, I feel like the ending of the movie is definitely where like I feel like for a lot of the movie, like I have a little bit of small things with the movie in general, but I think up until the end, I was like super into it. And then, yeah, I just got lost at the end. I was kind of like, again, I didn't really care. There wasn't a lot of action anymore. The scene when she was dropped into the pit was memorable. Um, the final, like, uh, a lot of stuff happens with his sword handle. That was kind of cool. We didn't bring that up, but his sword handle is like
Yeah,
trap. It has a trap in it where like it just fucks up your hand. Like it cuts your whole hand up. Um,
yeah.
and he uses it to like dislodge the special serum that he needs at the very end too, which was kind of cool.
Yes, the serum he needs to. Yeah, yeah, that is cool. Also, like they kill the kind of comedic relief henchman who is I forget the name of Donald Logue, who was in like he's in that TV show. What was it called? I'm trying to think of the name of the show. He was on some show. Anyway, whatever. He was kind of the comedic relief henchman. He was the charred guy, and then he comes
Yeah,
back, and then his hands are getting cut off by Blade, and then he gets killed. His glasses go flying up, and Blade catches them. And then
yeah,
like the music kicks in, and then you're like, yes, this is the best thing I've ever seen. So that's the thing with this movie is that there are some lulls. It's 2 hours. They nowadays maybe they tighten it up a little bit, get it maybe like an hour 45, get rid of a little bit of the exposition maybe. But even then, I don't think the movie lags much. But there are those standout moments that are like, yes, that's the coolest shit ever. I still think when he explodes this kung fu fight 2v1 in the hallway, explodes those people, awesome. And then yeah, he hits Deacon with the serum. Long range, I think he throws it, gets him with the
yeah.
serum, and then that's when he says some motherfucker's always trying to ice skate uphill, and then he kills the bad guy. That's
Awesome.
sick.
It was pretty sick.
Whoever came up with that, I mean, good job.
Yeah, good stuff. Um, yeah, I mean, pretty, and also this movie just like did well, right? Which is awesome because I think Marvel was like kind of at a not great point, right? Like, a lot of its characters were like relegated to all sorts of stuff, but finally they were like, let's make some movies with like our D-list characters, right? Like Howard the Duck, right? And then Blade, right? And Blade actually did well. Obviously Howard the Duck did not do well, but Blade actually does does well. And like
Yeah.
like if there was no Blade, would there have been the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies? Would there have been, the whole X-Men stuff made by, a random other director that I'm not going to name, right? And there was
Yeah.
would there have eventually been the MCU, right? I mean, who knows, right?
Yeah,
Um,
X-Men series is really cool. First movie directed by Bryan Singer, second movie directed by Bryan Singer, third movie, oh, they got rid of Bryan Singer. Who's the director? Oh, Brett Ratner. Very chill. Very chill trilogy. Real tough. Also, all these movies, the CEO of like Marvel at the time was Avi Arad. So that's very staunch Zionist Avi Arad. So very chill guys. Very chill. Uh
um, yeah, but
Blade in Palestine, just like killing the IDF are vampires.
uh,
That'd be pretty sick. Someone write the fanfic. Um, Also, end of the movie, she has the cure. Blade doesn't want the cure because there's still a war going on. He still has vampires to kill. Badass way to end a movie. And then there's the
Mhm.
epilogue in Moscow, which kind of uh sort of like it happens before the credits, but it's basically a post credit or like mid credit scene. But this is before they were doing that, and it's funny because in Blade Trinity there is like a teeny little post credit scene at the very end. It's just Blade driving in his car. There's nothing really to it, but there's also that trajectory from real movie to Marvel movie. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, and also I think like the post credit scene ification of Marvel is something that like I think people really started fighting against in the MCU after like post Infinity War stuff. So now like the post credit scene is actually usually like something like that, where it's just like the guy driving, and that's it. You don't have to worry about this. No, the connecting thing might be like a mid credit scene or a pre credit scene or something. But
Yeah, I
thank
will
God,
say,
because those credits are so long nowadays too. Like I'm into like look at everyone that helped make the movie, but like when it's a Disney movie and there's actually a trillion people that were involved somehow in making the movie, um, do I really want to sit there for that whole thing just to watch what turns out to be Blade sitting in a car and driving?
yeah. Well, it's on Blu-ray, so you can just fast forward.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I will say Guardians 2, I think, had like six mid-credit scenes. It was like one of the worst things I've ever seen. But
yeah.
that was just terrible. But yeah, but not big on that. Kind of I like when movies are contained, kind of,
Mm-hmm.
I guess. I feel like the MCU really just became a TV series on in the movie theaters, just with the scale of a movie. But it was just like, well, you got to watch this one so you know what's going to happen in the next one. And it's never ending, never really a satisfying conclusion. But I think people want a conclusion, and then Endgame probably was that, and then Marvel was like, got to keep going, and then it's kind of been a little bit lost since then.
Yeah. Yeah, and
But
which I mean, I think we're going to talk about Guardians in a bit, but Guardians is kind of like the standout of that post Endgame stuff. I think, which
yeah.
like again, we get like the very beginning really of what Marvel will become with Blade, right? Where it's really like there's not a lot going on in Marvel yet at the time, and Blade luckily does well. So then there's not luckily, I mean, it's not luck, it's a well made movie, but it allows for Marvel to experiment more, use its more prominent characters in the comics like Spider-Man and the X-Men, um, and eventually blow up into this big thing. Whereas kind of post Endgame, a lot of Marvel stuff is trying so hard to fit together into this bigger picture of phase 3 or something. But Guardians is like, fuck you guys. James Gunn is like, I want to finish my trilogy and then I'm out of here, and like that's kind of the mindset of Guardians. It like doesn't want to or need to connect necessarily to anything else, which feels in a way very kind of blatant. So
I don't totally agree about the Guardians stuff. There's a lot of connection in the Guardians movies. Like literally in the third one, I have not seen Infinity War or Endgame, and there's like an entire massive, huge, huge important thing that happens in between two and three that you'd need to see Infinity War and Endgame to understand. And I picked up on it. Obviously, it wasn't that
yeah,
hard to figure out. But also, I'm like, wow, that character basically died off screen if you just watch these three movies.
yeah, but they tell you what happened. I mean, like
I guess.
I see what you're saying, yeah, but
It's kind
also
of it's kind of insane. It's like the third most important character in the series, and they just die in some other movie.
yeah. Well, I do kind of
And
mean if you think about Guardians 3, it's not like necessarily trying to build into anything else, right? Like
right,
phase 2 is done or whatever. I don't know, whatever.
it's like
The
phase
end game
five or
stuff,
something, five,
yeah.
5 or 6 or something.
Oh, Jesus. The end game stuff is done, right? And so it's like Guardians 3
But
can kind of just James Gunn can kind of just end it, right? Which is what he wants to do.
kind of. But then at the end, we see the new Guardians.
Yeah, but that's not actually going to happen.
Well, but they could. What do you
Sean Gunn
mean?
is not going to be in another movie with Marvel, probably.
Why not make the new Guardians
They
movie?
like
They could
half
do it.
fired James Gunn during the making of the
Well,
movie.
yeah, I guess that's fair. They could just kill him. They could just say he's dead off screen, or he's on some planet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, they might, but it kind of feels more to me like Blade at the end of Blade 1, right? Like being like, yeah, there's still more to do. Like, yeah, cool. Like
Yeah.
whatever. But
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. They don't have to continue it, but they always have to leave it open
yeah,
and not to mention the first one, there's a lot of connections with Thanos and trying to which does connect to everything else in the first one. So they are very connective, these movies. But I did find the third one to be a satisfying conclusion. But all right. Is there anything else we should talk about Blade? I mean, Wesley Snipes, fantastic in the movie. I don't know if there's anything else really to say about Wesley Snipes. Just one of the most iconic, like one of the most iconic characters. He's kind of actually almost in the Wolverine uh echelon where like no one else has been able to be Blade, and they're kind of trying to make a new Blade with Mahershala Ali, but they can't really figure out what to do. And now I feel like Mahershala Ali is like getting a little bit old maybe for that. I'm not really sure. But then in like Deadpool and Wolverine, they just brought him back. So they're kind of in that he's so iconic as Blade that no one else has been able to play him really.
yeah, definitely. Um, but yeah, I mean,
One
yeah, go ahead.
one thing about Blade Trinity, it has the Marvel opening sequence. Blade 1 and 2 do not have that. So that's another sign where it has the Marvel, like the current one where it's like the comic books and it's like
Oh,
the comic books are fluttering and it says Marvel. The first two didn't have that, but the third one does. So another descent into the Marvelification of the Blade trilogy.
that's funny. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even notice. I was like, man, three. You're like, yeah. Here's Ryan Reynolds' intro
Yeah.
narrating over what I'm like.
And it ends with Ryan Reynolds' monologue again. Ugh, that one is tough. I will say Jessica Biel, innocent. She was cool.
I guess.
She had that cool like UV like
Oh,
thing.
come on. No,
That
no,
was
that was not
cool.
cool. That was the dumbest
Yeah.
shit.
Why?
It's it looks stupid. It didn't it was like the worst CGI every time they used it. It like I don't it what was the point of it?
To kill vampires. What do you mean?
It's just a bad lightsaber.
It was like a light bow and arrow.
Yeah, but it was actually not a bow and arrow. It was
Yeah.
like they,
It was cool, dude.
hard
What do you mean?
disagreeing. Hard disagreeing. The first time they pulled that out, it was like the train scene in the movie or something, and she
Yeah,
pulls
and
it out, and
yeah.
I was like, what the fuck am I watching? Come on.
Nah, I can't agree with you there. That was cool.
Well,
Her putting in like headphones while she fights, that was stupid. But that was a cool the UV lightsaber thing was cool.
I'm glad you liked
That was cool. There's a lot of problems with Blade Trinity, but that's not one of them.
it. I did not appreciate that when they're going
What a
over all
weird
the.
thing. They have like they like shoot bow and arrows that shoot out UV light and stuff. It's all silly.
Yeah, but this one, it just didn't look like a weapon because it's like a bow and arrow, but you're holding it by the part that you would hold to shoot. You're holding it by that, and you're trying to stab people with the bowstring like an idiot. Like, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
you could just have something that shoots out UV light and it would be better, right?
There's like a thousand. You've already shown me 1,000 different things that are better than this to use.
But I think it's extra concentrated. So it's
Shut the fuck
faster. What do you mean? That's perfectly good blade science.
up.
It's concentrated in one area, so it's super strong. Because UV light's gonna take a while. Look how long it took them to kill Pearl. You were
Yeah,
so sad for Pearl. Oh, poor Pearl. And
yeah,
because it takes a while with the UV light, they don't die right away. But if it's super concentrated, then they
yeah.
will explode.
If only there was anything else they could have used to kill someone fast in this. Oh, like the silver that they use for everything else ever.
Well, but this cuts right through them. Silver, they could block it or something.
Blade has a katana that cuts right through him.
Yeah, I know. Listen,
I just listen. If it was like I don't know, it looked better. It was like a weapon that looked like somebody could actually use it. I would have been in on it. And also, if it didn't do the stupid folding away thing that looked like what? Come on. If it literally it folds up so it looks like a lightsaber hilt,
uh,
kind of, and then it unfolds so it's like a lightsaber bow and arrow. And I was like, honestly, if you just gave them a lightsaber, I
can't do
I
that.
would I would have thought that was stupid and you can't do that. But I also would have been like, at least it's not a stupid ass bow and arrow lightsaber. Like
All right, yeah, that's fine. What a weird.
I like that we're
You're
on
like,
this.
I can accept Dracula,
No, I can't accept trash. Listen, nothing. I'm not saying anything positive about three because,
Uh,
um,
you know
I
what the
mean,
worst part about three was? The location of Ryan Reynolds' familiar tattoo. Why is it on like his pubic hair? Why do we have to see his pubes for when he shows it? What's that?
yeah,
That was awful. I didn't
yeah.
like that.
He also just, oh man, every time you hear him talk, it's just
Incredibly
bad
annoying.
joke after
Also,
bad joke.
do you think those are his real earrings?
I didn't think about it that much. I
They were
don't know.
he had like really shitty little tiny little like earrings. But I was like, are those like are those really his or are those like fake that they put in for the movie? Either way, they look shitty. But anyway, no offense to Ryan Reynolds, God bless you. You're probably not a bad person, but man, that character was annoying.
Yeah, yeah. Trinity was rough. I mean, definitely like one. No matter, I think a lot of people like two more than one, and I know a lot of people like one more than two, and that's great. I think both of them are pretty good. But but three, oh man, if anyone out there likes Blade Trinity the most,
Yeah, that would be
please
crazy.
explain yourselves.
Nah, I
Like
don't think
hey,
there's anyone.
like whatever, teach their own. But also, what is going on?
No, I don't think there's anyone. It's interesting. I saw these movies like back in high school, and I don't think I've seen them since. And I remember Blade Trinity being like not that bad. I remember being like, oh man, everyone says this is like awful, but I was like, it was okay. Like it wasn't that bad. And then I watched it this time, and I was like, oh yeah, it's like it is actually that bad. Like the
Yeah,
action is so choppy, and they almost there's so little Blade.
yeah.
It's called Blade.
Mm-hmm.
Keep Blade in the movie, but they I think Wesley Snipes and David Goyer were not getting along, and it just was a bit of a nightmare. So yeah. Anyway, should we do our
Anyways,
ratings for Blade and then get to Guardians?
yeah, sure. You want to
I,
start? What'd you give it?
I gave it 3.5 out of 5, a strong 3.5. At first, I gave it 4, and then I was like leaning 4, 3.5, and then I landed on 3.5 because there are some rough special effects, but overall, this is a pretty awesome genre movie. Great action, super fun, very strong. This could be a top 10 superhero movie for me.
Wow, that's
That
awesome.
yeah,
Glad you picked it then. Out of curiosity, what did you give Blade two?
2.5.
Two and a half. Wow. All right.
And I gave Blade Trinity 1.5.
Yeah, fuck that one. Who cares?
There you go. I did 3.5, 2.5, 1.5. Nice, one
Nice.
star between them all.
Nice, nice. I so I gave Blade a strong three. Um, yeah, yeah, strong three. I liked it. I would definitely rewatch it, but I did give two and a half. Nope, I gave two, three and a half. I thought two was just a little bit like just enough to pump me over that edge a little bit, but and Trinity, I actually, as of recording this, I haven't rated Trinity yet. I have no idea. It was pretty bad. I had like, yeah, it's like a one-star movie, maybe. It was pretty garbage. But I think if anyone out there is watching this and we haven't convinced you yet not to watch Trinity, you're a psychopath. Just do yourself a
Yeah.
favor. Don't watch Trinity. Um,
Yeah, especially if it's not like for free somewhere. Like if you're
yeah,
gonna watch Trinity, it has to be for free somewhere. Like on a streaming service you already pay for or something.
honestly, if you were like there's probably some drinking game that you could do with Trinity that would make it more enjoyable. Like I think
Every every
yeah,
annoying snark Ryan Reynolds, then you just die of alcohol poisoning.
I think like there is something you could do with like this series, not with the series, with Trinity to make it like enjoyable. If you're like a huge Blade fan, and you want to watch it, I'm sure there's like fun. It maybe it's so bad it's good, or maybe you can drink during it or whatever. But it feels like it has very few redeeming qualities compared to the first two. So
Yeah.
it's a tough one.
Yeah. Also didn't mention Blade's car. Very cool.
Yeah, yeah,
So love the outfit, love the katana, the blade, the titular blade, and the car. Just awesome, badass all throughout. So super cool.
absolutely.
And I like the all black. In the second one, they give him the red within the cape, which is still cool, but I kind of like the all black.
Yeah,
It's a little more stealth.
yeah. Definitely, like you said, like two kind of gets a little bit more comic booky. You know,
Yeah.
I think, and that's kind of part of it. But the rating recap for Blade,
Oh
it's
yeah.
got a 7.1 out of 10 on IMDb. 3.9 out of 5 on Letterboxd, 59% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, and 78% audience score.
Nice.
So kind of a discrepancy there, but it brings it to a 6.95 average out of 10. So pretty solid, really close to that 7, 3.5 average. So definitely a respectable movie. And again, it kind of propels Marvel into being able to become what it is today, where now it's making like also like let's not forget Blade's budget was not what Marvel budgets are nowadays, right? I mean,
Yeah, definitely not. But yeah,
uh,
Blade definitely is kind of like a cult classic. It was not like critically acclaimed or anything at the time, but a lot of people love Blade, which is
yeah.
good. So, and I'm glad I mean, I am down for a new Blade for sure, but I want them to just do it right. I don't know what's been going on with the new one. It's just kind of it seems like it's been like in development for years and it just has not had any progress. So I don't know what the deal is.
It's
But
going to end up as a Disney Plus
no,
miniseries
no.
that connects into and it's only actually accessible if you've seen it's actually behind a separate paywall where you have to put in not just your credit card number but also like some code that was in season 10 of Loki. As
Yeah, sure. No, they bet they'll do it right if they do it. I feel like the Marvel needs to take a break. They need to do like this shit that they're doing, the Doomsday and Secret Wars, I think, and then just like take a couple years off, reset, give time for people to want them to come back, and then, come back with a bang, like come back with Blade or something.
or also like or
Or
just
just
make some stuff that's not connected, you know?
yeah.
Do some cool like do like a Blade trilogy, right? Like don't, unrelated. Screw everything else. Do a Blade trilogy. Do a new like uh I don't know, do a new X-Men thing, right? Do some stuff that has no
Well,
relation.
they're already bringing the X-Men into the MCU now.
I know, but they shouldn't, right? They should just do like if you look at Disney, one of the things I almost picked for this episode was Marvel Zombies. It there's a few deciding factors that skewed me not to. One of them being that it's like it's technically a mini series, but it's like it seems like a cool, totally unrelated, just its own thing, right? And there's also like Marvel. I think there's like something like the equivalent of like Star Wars Visions or something, where it's like just little one shot things, right? Just like animated episode, right? And then another animated episode, totally unrelated to anything else. And it's like I think Marvel should just like Doomsday happens. Hey, everything literally resets. All right, now you have nothing else to do. All you can do is make stuff that doesn't have to do with a bigger picture because you've already used up all of your Infinity Stones, all of your big bad people that you can. The world
I
cannot end any worse than it already has.
I think once they've gotten to the multiverse stuff, it's like they've gone past the point of no return and nothing means anything anymore in the MCU. So that's why I feel like they should take a little break and then literally reset everything. Just a whole new universe. The previous universe is done. We're not bringing back anything. There's no callbacks. There's no fucking keeping Tony Stark or doing anything. None of that. Completely new. And whether they want it to be an interconnected universe or maybe they build it out like they did at the beginning too. But I feel like that would be the right way to go because now it's like there's no one coming in new.
Yeah.
Like it's all just and it's just people falling off.
Right.
So they were at their peak and it's just going to keep going down because people are going to lose interest, but there's no way for new people to come into the universe because they have to watch like 30 movies to know what's going on in Doomsday.
Yeah. If I think you're right. If they literally just like restarted a new Avengers, right? It's like literally you have not don't do Captain America and Iron Man, but like, pick some new B-list characters, right? Start making new movies with them, unrelated, but you can start, whatever, make a new universe with them. That'd be cool. And like there could be uh literally there's like the ultimate universe in the comics, right? That's where like Miles Morales is from and stuff. And like you could just start using those characters, like do something that's not the normal Marvel stuff now and build it into its own new thing, right? That'd be cool.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, they could do a new one with Blade. They could do Miles Morales instead of Peter Parker. Yeah, and there's a lot of options. I'm sure there's other hero like no one really knew who Iron Man was before the Iron Man movies, so they could potentially take some random character that no one knows really and make them a part of
Yeah.
the that new universe potentially.
I mean, I think one difficulty they'll have with that is now, like if you look at Disney Plus, they've done like they've done a lot of people. Just like they've done like mini series for a bunch of people that are all somehow connected, and it's like they have like Werewolf by Night, they have like Moon Knight, they have Miss Marvel, they like tons of people that essentially they're wasting because they're like throwing them in for what is already like a pretty tired fan base. And if you're not ready to get excited about this character and everything else that's going on, it feels like you probably just are you going to watch it? You know, like it's tough. Like I was pretty
Yeah,
excited about Loki
but
as a character, so I wanted to watch the Loki stuff. And man, was that a decision? Oh my god!
yeah,
Not
it's a
that it
few
was
seasons,
bad.
right?
Yeah, it's a few seasons, and it gets very into multiverse, and it's all connected
Uh,
to, and so it's
I'm
like,
so out on multiverse. So out.
yeah, yeah,
I'm glad that the Guardians movies don't really get into any multiverse shit.
yep,
Very nice that oh, I guess they technically do because of Gamora.
yeah. Well, like, yeah,
Is that technically, I was wondering, is
it's like
that
timeline, I guess.
so, but what does that mean? It means that she must be from a different multiverse, but in earlier in time.
Well, she's from like so. Uh, so in like to try to stop Thanos. Yeah, this is when it gets a little annoying. All right, easiest way to do this, right? So
I
this,
know she gets killed by Thanos.
yes, and so they take Gamora from time earlier before that, right?
So they time travel in like Endgame.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's essentially how they undo Thanos stuff. Um, and
I'm glad I haven't watched the movie.
yeah,
I'm gonna watch what Infinity War and Endgame, what 6 hours, and there's gonna be time travel to just undo all the shit. Thanks. It sounds great. I know people
um,
love it. People love it.
and but so they bring Gamora out, and so this Gamora that's in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is a Gamora from before Guardians of the Galaxy 1, or maybe technically like I kind of forget, but it might be like in Guardians 1 they might like literally go to a scene from Guardians 1. I kind of forget, but
Ugh,
either way, an early, yeah, it's
that
an
sounds
early
horrible.
version of Gamora before she's like actually involved with Guardians.
So yeah, okay. I guess I don't know how multiverse works. You'd think you go back in time. You must now be in a new timeline, though. You must be in a new. This is separate now
Yeah, I mean it's kind of confusing. I really have
because
no idea. Part
time
of the
travel doesn't
issue,
really make any sense. But
yeah, I mean
I
part of the
guess
thing, I think like they try to explain it because like when they undo the Thanos stuff, everyone's back except the original Gamora, and so it's like, is it because now you like you have a Gamora in this timeline, so Gamora can't come back because she's already here. It's just a different version of her, or like is she not able to come back because like the one that you have of her never died? You know, like you took her, so Gamora never died. So like, what happened? She's just not here anymore. You know, I don't know. It makes no
right, but
sense.
that's a separate timeline, though, wouldn't it be?
Yes, yeah, but
I don't
yeah,
know.
I don't know.
None of it makes any sense because none of it is real. So that's why none of it makes any sense. So
Time travel is so. I mean, this is like when we were talking about Tenet. It's like time travel is
yeah,
hard to talk about. Um,
there are some time travel movies I like, but I feel like in general I find it more annoying than anything else most of the time.
I'm a big Back to the Future fan. I gotta be
Mm.
honest, love Back to the Future, but yeah, time in general, I think time travel is really hard to do, and it turns out to
Yeah,
be just pretty confusing. I actually do
yeah,
like
I
Infinity War and Endgame, but all right, time travel.
yeah, I like some time travel things. Looper is a good movie.
Yeah,
Time Crimes. If anyone's seen Time Crimes, great movie. Great movie. All right, cool. I guess we just get into Guardians 3 now. This was your pick.
this is my pick. This is James. So yeah, we had the start to a trilogy with yours. Thank God you didn't pick Trinity. I mean, we talked about it anyways, but
I
yeah.
wouldn't have been that. I I take offense that you'd even bring up the idea of me choosing Blade Trinity. I never.
But I had to pick the end of the Guardians trilogy, partly because I think it's my favorite, and I think it's maybe considered the best. I assume. But James Gunn, he's finally done with Marvel. He's gone on to the DC. Also, I figured you might like Guardians because James Gunn is now the DC overlord.
Yes, I know there's probably Marvel people watching potentially, but I'm more of a DC guy. Batman's my favorite superhero. I like the new DCU stuff that they're doing. So Marvel people can be mad at me. That's fine. But yeah, it was interesting watching this because I felt like as they went on, like James Gunn has sort of matured a lot, and you can see it through the movies to where particularly the first Guardians of the Galaxy, is extremely like ironic and glib and insincere. I think this is how I took it. They're constantly undercutting anything that could be emotional. It's a lot of like jokes and quips throughout, and I it just rubbed me the wrong way, and I didn't really enjoy it at all. I didn't enjoy the characters. Like it's just the tone and the and everything just did not do anything for me. And then I think as the series goes on, James Gunn is a lot more comfortable being sincere and like letting characters actually have emotional moments. And that definitely like peaks with the third one, where there is like a genuinely compelling and emotionally involving story, and they're not constantly undercutting everything with a joke. It's allowed to actually be like dramatic and emotional without having to be like ironic. So I think you see a lot of that growth. In the series, and I think that's a good thing for where the DCU is going, because I think he needs to have the ability to do that. You can't just make a bunch of ironic you know, type of movies and like build a universe around it. And I think like Superman also had a lot of heart and sincerity, and that was a lot of which you need for Superman. So I think that
Yeah,
you can see his evolution a little bit as a filmmaker in this.
yeah. Also, I think it's interesting. This approaches very dark subject matter. This is actually, in some ways, the darkest Marvel movie that's been made, maybe since Blade 3 or whatever. I don't know. Like, in some ways, I'm not really thinking too
Logan,
hard.
maybe Logan.
Logan, sure, yeah.
But
Oh
even
yeah, Logan
I
was
will
good too.
say, I had expectation. Like I was worried about this movie. I was like, oh boy, like I've heard this is awful. And I watched it and I was like it's sad and emotional and stuff, but this is not fucking the sorrow and the pity. You know what I mean? Like it is a fun,
Yeah,
it's a fun comic book movie. It's just that there's actually an emotional core. I think most Marvel movies, this is maybe me being disparaging, but they have almost no emotional core. Like it's all just popcorn and like look at the characters, look at the callbacks, look at the interconnectedness of the universe. And there's nothing really emotional going on in most of them. At least from my perspective, that's probably not correct, whatever. But this one actually does have an emotional core, so I think people just don't expect that from a Marvel movie. But I really didn't like the movie is actually fun for the most part. Like it's not a hard watch. For some reason it had been built up in my head that it's like, oh man, there's gonna be like 30 minutes of Rocket being tortured as like a baby. And it's like, no, that's not really there's small bits of it just to tell
yeah,
the story. And you're not seeing him being tortured or anything. Like
yeah.
it's obviously sad, but it's not as bad as people had made it out to be, I think.
Interesting. It's kind of, I think it's a little insane that you thought that in a Marvel movie made today, there's going to be like raccoon torture.
That's how people said it.
uh,
They were like, "Oh my God." Like people were saying it's like the most horrific stuff. It's like animal abuse. They're showing animal abuse in the movie. Not that it's real. That's not what people weren't claiming that they
yeah,
obviously
yeah,
they're all CGI, but just that they're showing animal abuse in the movie and stuff like that. And like they are, but I just didn't find it like hard to watch. For
right.
whatever reason, that's what I expected. I thought it was going to be
I get
like
you.
a movie pulling at your heartstrings, make little baby rockets being I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's a movie, I think, about dark subject matter, but it's
Yeah.
certainly not like, you know, trying to uh, get itself an NC-17 rating or anything,
Yeah,
um,
ultimately it is PG-13, right?
yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah. I just think people talk about it always with the emotion first, so I didn't expect it to be that fun, but it is mostly a fun movie.
Yeah, definitely. Um, Also, the characters in Guardians 3 are like so, I think, very well fleshed out and very like um I think there's a lot of growth. I think it's hard to say if it's only within this movie, but certainly throughout the trilogy, a lot of the characters have grown a lot by Guardians 3 and feel so uh sort of fulfilled in a way where like it sort of makes sense that this is like the end of this trilogy where like we don't need these characters again. Like they've done their thing. Very happy that they've grown so much and had so much to do, right? Like Nebula coming kind of from in Guardians 1 being kind of a truly like bad, kind of hateful, maybe uh sort of the opposite, almost what Gamora is in Guardians 3, really. And uh anyways, and then growing into something that's a much more goofy, kind of fun loving person in Guardians 3. And I think that growth is like true for pretty much everyone in this. If you look at, I mean, there's 3 movies to do this. So you've got, over 7 hours of
Yeah.
footage. But of course, like I think, if you look at any one of these characters, I think there's so much growth. Even Mantis, who was only introduced in the second one. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Definitely each character and uh Quill too. He also it becomes more serious throughout the movies, you know what I mean? And obviously Rocket like Rocket and Quill are kind of just like the first movie they're just like quippers. They're
yeah.
constantly making quips. And then the third movie they're really not quipping very much at all. They're kind of like emotional and they're like I love you, bro. And that's kind of the
Yeah.
vibe. So
Yeah,
it
definitely.
does change a lot over the movies. And I was definitely able to connect with this third one way more than the first.
Yeah. And I think this third one is so good at showing the like all while there's growth, I think, in all the movies, I think in this one we really like we start off the movie with uh uh Peter Quill being kind of an alcoholic, like kind of coping with poorly coping with the loss of Gamora. Um, and we see at some points we see Gamora struggling with this like kind of expectation versus who she is thing, right? We see Drax struggling with kind of the interpersonal connection with everyone of being like, yeah, you never like guys, I'm not just like a brick, right? Like I know this language later on in the movie and stuff. And I feel like there's a lot of interesting kind of conflict for each person, like kind of internal conflict that they all work through in this movie, in a way that really does, again, like kind of feel like James Gunn trying to close it off, right? Like, again, like making every character fulfilled in a way that's
Yeah.
satisfying to fully end it.
Yes, that is definitely the ending. Just to go to the beginning,
Yeah.
uh, they it starts with Creep, and it is the censored version of the song. And so this is how we start the movie. And I like the scene where it's a oneer through nowhere. Also, I will
Mm.
say nowhere, not introduced in Guardians 2. That takes place in between Guardians 2 and 3. So it's another interconnected thing.
Hmm. Nowhere is a place in Guardians 1.
Is it?
Um, yeah, yeah.
Do they go there?
It's not like a base, but yeah, they go there in Guardians 1.
Oh
Um,
shit. Maybe
they
I
go
did
there.
I did
It's
watch Guardians 1 like maybe 6 months ago. So that
um
I might have just forgot that. I only
it,
watched like 2, the Christmas special, and 3 like within the past week.
I want to say there's like a mining operation happening there, and they go and I think there's like some maybe a bar fight that happens essentially or whatever, and
Oh.
something like that. But yeah, it's definitely
Okay.
a thing.
But kind of like the end of 2, like they just are on nowhere. Like in the Christmas special, they're just in
Yeah,
nowhere and it wasn't really so I assumed that that happened in like Endgame.
yeah, that might. I don't really remember why they get there,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Just a thing. Uh but yeah, so that's the start of the movie. Quill is all drunk and sad and depressed because Gamora is dead apparently. I didn't know that at the beginning. That's okay. So I will say at the beginning of the movie, a lot of red flags for me. And I'm immediately like, oh boy, I don't know about this.
I'm glad it worked out. But yeah, I
That's
can
what
see what
I'm
you're saying.
saying. The movie, that's what I'm saying. It started off with a little bit of, I don't know, like, fucking Marvel. You got to play the censored version of Creep. You can't say like fuck
Mm.
or shit or whatever is in. I forget.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Blade
yeah,
did not
fuck.
care about that.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Blade's a fucking badass. But yeah, uh, so it got off on, but it is kind of like well shot. It's kind of a cool oneer, and it has the cut. It's like shows the baby rocket like in the raccoons, and then uh like match cut on his face to him listening to Creep.
Mhm.
So pretty cool. And also by the end of the movie, Rocket, like he's always denying that he's a raccoon, and then he realizes he really is a raccoon. He saves the raccoons. They save the animals too. They all jump out. Quill has to save his fucking iPod so he can give it to Rocket, which I guess is nice, but also kind of silly. But whatever. Uh, yeah, that was a cool ending, and that he now Rocket can accept himself. You know.
Yeah, and he says Rocket Raccoon in,
Yeah.
and he's in this pose. And it's actually this is like I think kind of a cool nod that sometimes happens in these movies where it's a nod to actually the comic books and not a nod to another movie thing. But it's like this iconic Rocket Raccoon pose where he says, "I'm Rocket Raccoon," and he's in that pose, and you get this exact camera angle that I think is supposed to be showing that pose.
Yeah.
Um,
Cool.
and which is kind of cool. I mean, I listen, they're comic book movies. I think they should have cool nods to comic books once in a while, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. That was cool.
As long as it doesn't
I
take away from obviously the
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
But
I really liked all the stuff with his friends. His Leela and Teefs and Floor, I think were their names.
yeah,
All of his little weird mutated experiments, and they form a little family, which is also everything that Guardians is about, but also like James Gunn's oeuvre in general. He loves a group of misfits who can form a family unit. Uh, Recurring theme in his work. Uh, but yeah, that was all really well done. And then you hate the villain, obviously, very well done. I forget the name of the actor. He's also in oh nope, that's not him. I don't know. I'm gonna look for his name. Oh, got him. Chukwudi Iwuji. He's also in Peacemaker.
oh,
So I recognized him from there. But he's really great as this like completely evil, egomaniacal villain. And then he uh he murders all of Rocket's friends, which sucks. So then you're like, all right, I hate this. I definitely hate this guy. And then there's the great scene where Rocket is dying and he's in the afterlife and he sees them in the afterlife. Great scene. Loved all that. And then
also
uh
that scene right when that scene's ending and he's falling through, and I thought that was such a cool effect. I mean, it's really not a shot; it's just an effect, I guess, because it's all computer. But of him falling back into his body, and I thought that was such a cool awakening moment, and just really well. I was like in love with that effect.
Yeah, that was very cool. And they're like, not yet, or something like that. And he goes back into his body and everything. Yeah. Oh yeah. One tier. One tier. Yeah, but I thought that was great. And yeah, it that relationship with those little characters definitely formed like an emotional core for the movie to make you care and everything. So I thought that was all really well done. Are those characters like in the comics or
Not
are
that I
they?
know of. James
Hmm.
Gunn takes a lot of, you know, I mean, Rocket until the movies. I don't. Rocket didn't really have a traumatic backstory in the comics. Um,
Yeah, I think he's like only in a few comics. He's like a extremely tiny character. So
yeah,
he probably expanded a lot of this on his own, I guess.
yeah, and I think that's true for a lot of what James Gunn does in this movie. With like the High Evolutionary is not at all what he is in this movie in the comics. I
Hmm.
mean, he's making like a counter Earth, but it's much different, and the perspective is much different on that character. Um, Whereas here, obviously, like he's maybe the worst possible thing, right? Like which is great. Like James Gunn makes him not just a villain, but like maybe one of the worst possible villains. Like he's torturing and like genetically
Burn
mutating, making whole
Burning them
planets.
alive.
Yeah. Right
Yeah.
after making them, like
Yeah.
torturing them and making them, and then making whole planets just to destroy them with all these people on them. Um, so pretty insane. And so a lot of this is really James Gunn's creation, which is really cool to see. Um, and and it really shows, I think, his prowess not just in directing, but in and not directing and storytelling, but also world building and character development and stuff, because a lot of this is just his stuff that really works. Also, while we're talking about Gunn, I gotta say how bad Disney is.
For firing him.
Yeah, they hop on the bandwagon of just like firing people. I know like there was some like bad tweets that he made,
Edgy jokes.
edgy jokes, and so they fired him while this movie was like I don't know. I think it might have already been development. I think the plan was to replace him to finish the movie, however far through the movie was. And and he was fired for a bunch of months, but pretty much everyone involved in the movie was like, you got to bring this guy back. He's awesome. He's not what you're saying he is. Like, just let him finish the movie. He's already like, I think he was already signed on to DC at this point too. So like, he
Mm.
was literally just finishing this movie, and Disney had to be a total loser about it and try to get rid of him. And like this trilogy, like was like his baby. Like if they replaced him to finish the trilogy, that would have been like so insulting. Like this is like the reason he was in Marvel in the first place was to build this trilogy and stuff. And so and again, like it's I think a lot of this trilogy is kind of building up to this emotional ending with all this stuff, right? Like you have a lot of character development leading into having now these fleshed out characters that can have these like core emotional stuff going on as opposed to just quipping jokes like in the first one, right?
Yeah.
And so for some random other director to come in with like no idea on what this is trying to build into, this movie would have been, I'm just gonna say it. I don't even care who I don't they could have brought in Christopher Nolan and this movie would have been terrible, you know?
Yeah, it would have been a nightmare. But
Yeah.
it is nice that this ended up sort of being like you can see this is such James Gunn stuff. Like it's all in his voice basically. And I felt like in the first one it got swallowed up by the Marvel. Like it felt like just a Marvel movie to me, but this one felt like very unique just in the way it looks. Like even opening with the oneer, like the use of color and the when they go to that like bio
The orgoscope.
engineered, yeah, the orgoscope, yes. And just the design of everything like is so unique and fun. So yeah, all that even like little things like at the beginning when Adam Warlock attacks nowhere, there's like a little shot of Groot with it's just his head and like some arms, and that is like a callback to the thing,
Yeah.
the little head in the thing. And I'm like, you wouldn't see that in just any Marvel movie. Like that's a little touch, uh, which sort of goes to there's a lot of almost like body horror kind of things in this movie.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Oh
yeah,
definitely.
yeah, and so it is like it does feel like it's its own thing with its own authorial voice, which is very nice
Yeah. Um
and is unique for Marvel. I think most Marvel movies they hire a lot of directors who are up and coming and don't really have a lot of power or like sway on things, and they kind of just like boss them around and just have them put in put in some work, get a paycheck, and move on. But this one definitely felt like a passion project.
yeah, right. Also, it's like cool, like with the body horror and like just the surrealness also of like Counter Earth, like and
Yeah.
and of the orgoscope, like not really surrealness, I guess, but like just the weirdness of it. Like these are things that like
Oh yeah, it's so nasty when they land on the orgoscope and they're like cutting through this like flesh and muscle, and oh, it's disgusting.
yeah, and then Counter Earth has like these like humanoid animal things, and it's like so surreal, and they're talking in a language that apparently James Gunn like made an actual language. I mean, I don't know how much of that what that means really, but like that's what he says. And there and just the world building just for the Counter Earth and like for the orgoscope, like every little place they go to has so much interesting stuff behind it, like super well thought out, but also just again like Counter Earth is so weird and surreal, and like who else is gonna do that in Marvel? Like
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And it's also like 80s America, basically, which also feels like a very James Gunn thing. That's when he would have been a kid. And it's very much I don't know. You can just tell when a movie has an like a creative vision behind it and they put things of themselves in the movie. And even it's like, well, if it's gonna be Earth, it might as well be like the 80s when they have like the car where you need to push the button to open the door and stuff like that. Uh so
which
yeah,
is when we get one of our only fucks in the movie.
oh yeah, is that, oh, it's a stupid fucking design or something? Is that what
I I think she's like she finally gets into the car, or she pushes the handle in and goes, now what? And then he goes, now you open the fucking door or
Oh,
something. And it's very funny. But
that is funny.
um yeah. Also just in terms of like the ability of James Gunn to kind of do stuff that maybe doesn't even feel very as much as what we think about like mainstream Marvel with like a lot of this stuff. Not that Marvel movies don't have cool shots, but like there's some really impressive, like the one with Rocket falling backwards. Also, there's one where like the High Evolutionary, one of the first times I think maybe that we see him, I forget, but you see like this human animal hybrid thing like running on this treadmill, this circular treadmill thing, and
Yeah,
you get this like spinning falling backwards shot where you see the High Evolutionary, and it's like going directly counter the rotation. The camera is rotating directly opposite how the wheel is rotating, and it's just it makes for this like really cool shot of really also that like kind of asserts uh his feeling of control over everything, but also his kind of backwards logic and kind of following the same cycle. Like he is
yeah,
going to just blow up this planet and try again and all that stuff, right? So
yeah,
a
yeah,
really cool shot that actually tells you a lot about the character, I think.
yeah, yeah. And I think the High Evolutionary is like such a great villain of just being so evil and wanting to, yeah, basically like a eugenicist of just wanting things to be perfect and will kill anyone and anything to that gets in his way, kind of a thing. Just a good, pure evil that everyone can hate and be like, yeah, let's fuck this guy up. So
And then you learn also that his face, like his design
yeah,
is really cool. And then you learn
yeah,
also that, of course, that's actually because Rocket tore his face apart.
yeah. I wish Rocket just finished him off though, but that's okay. He was Baby Rocket, so
His baby.
he didn't know. But yeah, yeah, I could kind of tell that was coming just because his it's literally skin pulled over like a robot like hits skull. So yeah, but makes sense he would not want to look like that.
Yeah, he wants to be like
But
he
it,
wants to build the perfect society. And that was his,
yeah,
you know,
and it's
like,
interesting. Like in the pursuit of perfection, he's making the most grotesque and fucked up things possible. Like even including his own face. Like he has skin
mm,
pulled over, and like he thinks it looks perfect, but if you just look on the side, it's like grotesque. You know. So, but I don't know. I guess you don't want to just do Darth Vader,
yeah.
but yeah.
But then also you get when you see the face come off, it's a pretty grotesque image too. That's
Yes.
pretty cool to see. I mean, I think between that and like those grotesque bodyguards that he makes,
Oh
he has a
yeah, the pig guys, right?
yeah, and there's a name for them, and I forget, but it doesn't really matter. But
I think they're called war pigs.
war pigs, all right, yeah, and you know what crazy again with like the body horror that Gunn's able to incorporate. And I think a lot of that only gets through with Marvel also because it's all computer generated. It's all obviously just like it's animals, right? And like you have a lot more freedom when it comes to making animals look grotesque than making humans look grotesque in movies, I guess. So kids' movies.
Maybe. Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, they're not going to do that, have a bunch of humans with that stuff happening.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, they it is kind of interesting. I didn't even really think about this movie being PG-13. Like I just watched it and yeah, it is definitely pushing the boundaries. I wonder if just Disney and Marvel being so powerful, they're kind of able to be like, "Hey, MPAA, make the movie PG-13." And the MPAA is like, "All right."
Yeah. What are they going to do?
Yeah.
Say no? And then, like, look at how much money Disney has.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Like
like
they could probably strong arm him, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, they it definitely seems like they get away with quite a bit in a
yeah.
PG-13.
Yeah.
Even just toward the end when Quill is like in space and is he's getting all deformed. That's pretty gory, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess they don't show a lot of blood. I don't know. It's very weird what can be a PG-13 versus rated R. If you had the same movie and you took out all the violence and you put in one boob, it'd be R.
Yeah.
Right? But
Yeah.
but you can like kill all these people and have these animals being tortured and burned alive and like all this craziness.
But
And that's
I'm telling you, you replace all the animals with just humans. Like, there's
Yeah,
no way
but
that movie gets made and it's PG-13.
maybe. I don't know. They are kind of like human animal hybrids. Maybe you're right. I'm not sure.
Hey, I agree. And I think that's super fucked up. But also, I think that's kind of the reality is that I think like you show a movie where they put a baby into a thing, gas comes in, turns the baby into some giant grotesque almost human thing, and then they burn it alive, and then they do pretty much the same thing with an entire planet. Like,
Yeah, yeah, that's a fair point. Maybe that is a factor.
I don't know. I'll also, yeah, Disney does have an insane amount of money to pretty much do whatever they want. So
Yeah, yeah, I guess so. But yeah, it worked out. They were able to get it done. I feel like the movie feels very uncompromised, which is
yeah,
nice. So, yeah,
yeah, you can tell that like James Gunn really had a lot of power in making it, right? Like
yeah, a lot
again,
of freedom.
yeah, he's not told he has to incorporate an Infinity Stone or has to do this or that, right? Like he's just able to do. It seems like pretty much whatever he wants
Yeah, yeah. Also, I will say you like Adam Warlock quite a bit, and Adam Warlock is, don't you?
in the comics. Adam Warlock in the comics is
Oh,
a crazy cool character. Um, and in this, he's like half baked. He like comes out unfinished is the idea,
right.
and again with like James Gunn taking a lot of creative liberty here with the characters, it's a much different character, which I think Will Poulter, right, he does a really good job as what this character is, like kind of a goofy, funny, kind of half baked character, but half baked in brain, not in
Yeah, he's sort of
design.
like a petulant teenager a little bit. Doesn't really know how to use his powers. He calls Elizabeth Debicki mom, which
Yeah,
is funny. He's like, "Mom, stop, mom!" Like he's kind of an annoying teenage boy.
but what were you gonna say though? Yeah, I don't really love him in the movie, but
No, I was just gonna say, ask what you thought about him in the movie because I know you like Adam Warlock, and I don't know anything about Adam Warlock. Never heard of him. Never read a comic about him, so I don't really know anything about the character. So I just thought this was Adam Warlock.
yeah, I think it's a fun. I think the character's fun, and I like the character a little bit, but it is we. I think again, like I don't know. I mean, I love that James Gunn is able to do pretty much whatever he wants, and that's probably the one comic thing where I'm like, huh, this is weird because in the comics he's a very powerful kind of, which maybe is the point, right? Like I
He's
don't know,
sort of like Superman-ish.
yeah, and so they're like, well, what if he like was just sort of still power like as powerful but not as able to use that, right?
Hmm.
Maybe, and I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
um
And there is something about those people where they want to be perfect as well, sort of, and sort of the high evolutionary as well. Like that's what they're searching for perfection, but it's like everyone has flaws, you know what I mean? Like you're not
yeah,
gonna find that, I guess. So maybe that's part of, and if he was this like Ubermensch uh type of a character, he wouldn't be sort of by the end of the movie he's sort of he's part of the new Guardians of the Galaxy at the end of the movie, so it's probably good they made him less powerful to make him more sympathetic maybe, and
definitely.
if they ever do make another new Guardians they could have him be like the most powerful guy with like Rocket and who is it at the end, so it's Rocket and it's, oh yeah, Sean Gunn, who's
Hmm.
like the new whistle on the Mohawk guy,
The new Yondu kind of.
I guess. Yeah, he's like Yondu 2.0. So then there's, who else is in it? Is Nebula in it?
uh yes, no, Nebula is not, because Nebula stays back, although Groot is in it, but he's like the giant
Teenage
cool.
Groot.
No,
Yeah.
no, not teenage. It's like huge muscular Groot. I don't know, like
Oh.
he's just like giant. I don't even know. He's like the size of like the Rancor in Star Wars or something.
Oh yeah, because he was like the Rock at the end. They're like
Yeah,
sitting next to him and you don't realize he's there. Oh yeah,
yeah.
true.
Who else is there? There's got to be one more, but I don't remember.
Adam Warlock, Rocket, James Gunn guy. I feel like, or Sean Gunn, Groot,
Groot.
and then I feel like there's one or two more. I can't
Yeah,
remember. Is
I don't
Mantis
think.
goes off and does her own thing.
Yeah, and I think Nebula and Drax stay at nowhere. They're gonna stay there. Um, but yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up.
There's yeah, there's definitely one other person, but While you're looking that up, fun fact: you know, Sean Gunn is the stand-in for Rocket.
Who's the stand-in for Rocket?
Sean Gunn. He does the stand-in stuff for Rocket during scenes
Really
when everyone needs something to look at.
interesting. Oh, okay.
And
There
then
you
they
go.
replace him with
What does he just
obviously
like? Does he like lay down or like
it's
sit?
hilarious. If so, I'll go a little bit more into this after. But if you watch some of the behind the scenes stuff, he's like crawling around on all fours and like sitting on his knees and stuff. And it's like, but apparently all the cast like applauds him for being like the you know the reason why Rocket can work so well. Obviously, there's so many people that go into Rocket, from him being the stand-in to the people that make the CGI elements and everything, and also Bradley
Yeah.
Cooper being the voice actor that ultimately is overlapped. But
Yeah. Cool. That's cool. I didn't know that.
fun
I
fact,
did look it up. Kraglin is the name of the Sean Gunn
Sean Gunn.
character. The other people are Cosmo the space dog, which we didn't talk about
Yes,
Cosmo yet. I feel
yeah,
like Cosmo is a little bit underused. Also, Cosmo, a dog and also a small animal, huge in James Gunn uh, works. Uh, so that's kind of cool. I also just like that James Gunn is like the comic book movie auteur. Like
yeah,
he's the one guy where it's like you watch a comic book movie and you know that it's a James Gunn movie.
yeah,
So I think
absolutely.
that's kind of cool. So Cosmo maybe a little bit underutilized in these movies, but maybe Cosmo will be in Guardians 4. And then a new young member named Phyla,
Oh,
who's
right,
like,
which is one of the people that was saved, right? One of the kids that was trapped.
yes, one of the kids trapped on the evolutionary's ship, and she has like yeah. So
I don't know
that's
if we
that's
ever
the group.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, I don't know if we ever see. I don't even know if even in the post credit scene if we see what her powers are, but
Yeah, I don't
maybe
know.
that's on purpose to give freedom to whoever's next to do
Yeah.
that. But
It just felt so much like they would continue with that group,
yeah,
but I guess maybe they won't. I don't know. I guess they kind of have the option to do whatever they want.
maybe they will. Also, I mean, my hope is maybe if they continued, they'd call it like something slight because like in the comics, there's like different groups like Guardians, there's like Defenders of the Galaxy, there's like kind of like how there's like Avengers versus Thunderbolts and stuff, right? Um,
Yeah.
and a lot of times those groups like overlap in people, right? Like
Hmm.
Rocket and Group might be in another group too. And so it'd be cool, I think, if they just called it something different, start a new thing. It's like here's the
I
Defenders of the Galaxy.
I know that this is you're gonna roll your eyes at this, but they could easily make this a TV show and
They
have
could,
sort of an episodic thing of them. They're going to different planets, they're defending people, it's
yeah.
a weekly like kind of a thing. I feel like that.
Surprised they haven't.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Marvel, if you
yeah,
need any ideas for more slop content, let me know. As if
yeah,
you don't have enough slop.
yeah. So actually, so here's the thing about Disney though. So did I watched this on Disney Plus? Um, and I really avoid Disney Plus a lot. I don't watch a lot of stuff on Disney Plus. Not that I will never, but like I don't really like Disney, but we have it at the household. So I used it for this because I was like, I don't have the Blu-ray. I have some of the Marvel Blu-rays, and I would have put it on if I had the Blu-ray, but I didn't. I'm actually glad I didn't because I discovered something kind of cool, which is I hate to say this, I love bashing on Disney, and I can't do that here because Disney has a lot of special features for their original content on Disney Plus. So you can watch. I watched all the deleted scenes. I watched a making of documentary that was way too long. But there's also the director's commentary for this, and I looked it up. I looked on Disney Plus, and it's on there for a lot of the other Marvel stuff. I presume other Disney stuff, and so I think that that's actually pretty cool. Even if I do think, hey, buy the Blu-rays, support physical media. That is clearly the better way to go. But it is cool that often I buy physical media in one part because I want to see the special stuff, right? The special features and everything.
Yeah,
And so it's kind of cool that if you want to watch through all the MCU with the director's commentaries, you can do that on Disney Plus, which is kind of cool. Not that you
that
should
is
do
cool.
that.
That is cool. They are probably trying to destroy physical media by take making it available, but it's cool that it's available.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
mean,
that's cool.
here's the thing, right? Like, I still obviously you should buy the physical media, but if one way or the other they're gonna stop making physical media, Disney, at least I'm glad that they're still putting the effort in to give the directors their commentaries and give the special features to the fans and stuff like that. The stuff that would be lost in like Netflix originals, you're not getting that, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's a shame, especially when so many of them will never get physical releases, which is stupid as shit. And if these streaming companies could just, if you make a movie, you should make it accessible some way or the other to people that maybe don't, or worse off, when you finally get tired of hosting it on your platform, you get rid of it. Now what? They're just, that art's just gone. Cool. Fuck you guys. Um, also, yeah. So, anyways, buy physical media, but also I did kind of enjoy that I could watch the director's commentary on, which I didn't go through the whole director's commentary, but I did watch some of the other special features on Disney
Yeah.
Plus.
Nice. That's cool that it's available. That's good.
Yeah.
I will say one thing, one thing about about this movie. I feel like there's a huge Star Wars influence on this movie.
Oh yeah,
This
for
I feel
sure.
like this is the best Star Wars movie since Last Jedi, at least.
Yeah. I
Maybe since Return of the Jedi.
I can see that.
So yeah,
Um,
it's just the I don't know, they're going from ship to ship. They're battling these guys. I don't know, whatever. It just felt very Star Wars to
yeah, and
me.
also I think the big ship kind of feels the way the hallways are set up and everything.
Yeah.
All speaking of hallways, uh, I don't want to cut off the Star Wars stuff because I think that's a cool analogy. But that hallway fight scene towards the end is
Yeah.
pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, there are a lot of cool action scenes throughout, to be
Yeah,
honest. Yeah.
which one thing from the special features that I got to see,
Hall,
there's
so okay, I know what you're talking. The No Sleep Till Brooklyn part when they play in Beastie Boys No Sleep Till Brooklyn and then they're fighting. Is it in a hallway or was it more of
I
a
thought it was a hallway.
I thought it was like a cargo bay or something like that. Or am I thinking of something
Oh,
else?
I guess you're. I don't know. It
Maybe
felt
I'm
pretty
wrong.
small.
Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong thing.
I don't
I
really
don't know.
remember what song was playing to be honest, so I could be.
I just remember that being really cool at the end. No Sleep
Yeah,
Till Brooklyn. They go in and they're doing cool action stuff.
but one of the cool things of special features is how small the cameras are. So the cameras are really a part of the choreography for these for the fights and the stunts, in a way that in Blade, the cameras probably weren't small enough for them to get like underneath Star Lord when he does this big kick or something, or like to move around in the way that they're able to move around. So that, like that one fight scene, I think is really when like I noticed it, and it was cool to see that highlighted a little bit in the special features of just how mobile these camera operators were able to be and also had to be to help with the choreography. So they were really like an extra component to it.
Yes, that is fair, and they're definitely like stitching together shots. I am
Yeah.
watching it right now. I guess it is technically a hallway, but it's a gigantic hallway.
All right. I could be
But
right. Whatever.
yeah, this is. I mean, I guess it's a hallway. It's like there's literally like dozens of monsters in this like area. But yeah, I guess whatever this is, it's a cool scene. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Um, but yeah,
That
and
is
also just speak and the soundtrack throughout is pretty. I mean, I think that's one thing with the three of these movies is I love the soundtrack in all three of them. I think it.
I did find the soundtrack like better as they went on. I remember in the first one finding it very like I feel like the song choices were very obvious. But I feel like in this one they had a little more like deeper cuts. Sometimes they're kind of on the nose, and sometimes I feel like James Gunn will spam the needle drop a little bit. He'll be like, I don't know what to do for this scene. We just put in a rock song. And it's like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, that works. And then there's like 30 rock songs in like a 2 hour movie.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, it does work, and that scene's that scene's really cool.
which is
But
another trade off, by the way, with like Marvel money or Disney money is like you wouldn't get the soundtrack in Blade because it just there wouldn't have been the money to do that. You know, like not that Blade had cool stuff going on for
yeah, stop disparaging Blade.
I
Blade did a lot with its resources.
yes. And that's what I'm saying though. It's like it's cool to see the growth of Marvel from back when it was pretty much only doing really pretty low budget stuff to now having not that Oh, man, I don't know. This is really like the only good recent Marvel movie, so fuck Marvel for the most
Yeah,
part.
exactly. All the rest of them are like $200 million for like gray slop,
Yeah.
and it looks like it could have been shot by like on a TV for a TV show.
Yeah. Oh wait, it could be. It literally might have been originally a Disney Plus original TV show. You know, who knows?
It's
Yeah.
definitely possible. I'm looking it up. I will say estimated budget for Blade $45 million, and that's in
Ooh,
1998. So
that's a lot of money.
that's pretty big for the time.
Wow, that
So
is a lot
there
of
you go.
money. Um, yeah,
But yeah, I also like classic action movie thing of like a bunch of little guys start invading nowhere. I feel like that's a
yeah,
classic thing of like a bunch of guys, a bunch of like little like henchmen start invading, and then you have to kill them all.
yeah,
Common thing happens in the Matrix, happens in basically Stormtroopers are this. Basically any like the Avengers movie, the first Avengers movie has this. A lot of times they're robots so that you can like kill as many of them as possible and make it look really cool without quote unquote killing anyone. So
yeah.
I think that happens here from what
Oh
I
yeah,
remember. Yeah.
for sure. Um, Also, just Nowhere's design is really cool, and the fact that they have it as like the eye they've turned into a camera. No,
Yeah, the
wait,
skull. Into like the cockpit, right? Oh, into
they
a cannon.
a cannon is what I meant to say. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like a single use. They even say after they shoot, they're like, I forget exactly what they say, but they're like not sure if it's gonna work, and also they have like one shot, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is a very cool design. One scene I really liked toward the end was when they throw like Mantis, Drax, and Nebula into that pit, and that's also very Star Wars. Like getting
Yeah,
thrown into the pit with the big monster, and there's like a few monsters that come around, and then Mantis like is nice to them and like wins them over and learns that they're not actually that bad. They just look scary, and then she like befriends them, and by the end of the movie, she's like that's like her. I think she's like riding on the back of one, you know.
yeah,
So that was a cool way to like an inventive way to subvert that like common trope.
definitely.
Yeah. Uh yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Badass No Sleep Till Brooklyn fight. Like the ending. They're jumping across the little gap and Cosmo saves the day with like telekinesis, dog telekinesis. Pretty cool. Cosmo is
Yeah,
like a communist telekinetic dog. What is up with
yeah.
these comic books? This is crazy.
Also
Maybe
cool,
not
Cosmo.
communist. Maybe just came from a communist country. Probably doesn't like him
Yeah,
because they sent Cosmo to die. But yeah,
yeah. A starch capitalist now.
who knows? We don't know much about Cosmo's personal politics, but
That's
yeah.
true. That's true. There are some gambling scenes. You could probably dissect something there.
Yeah, I guess libertarian. Cosmo's a libertarian, like
There we
hardcore.
go.
Like Ron Paul was right about everything.
um, yeah, Cosmo is awesome. Cosmo is a cool, also cool. They've changed Cosmo in the comics. Cosmo is a male dog, and they've changed it
Mm.
to
See, I did think it was weird that Cosmo you'd think would be a male name.
yeah, and I think they say in I forget where they said this, and maybe in one of the special features, but they said that it's to honor Laika, who's the one of the dogs that a female dog that the Soviet Union sent to space that died in space, and so in honor of Laika, they've changed it to Cosmo, the female dog, which you know
Gotcha.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's
Um,
nice. Yeah. Well, fuck that. Sending dogs to space to die.
oh yeah, that was like a oh yeah
I'll
oh
tell you what,
yeah
science, people like, oh, science is great. Science is often some of the most evil shit. It's just people experimenting on animals and
look at the
just
high
murdering
evolutionary.
people. Exactly. That's the
Yeah.
worst of it all. People thinking they can do anything in the name of science without any type of a moral backbone or, moral basis for their actions. So
Yeah.
fuck that.
Well, you know what they say? Theory alone only gets you so far.
What?
Then you got to start experimenting on people.
Oh, okay.
uh,
Yeah, yeah, great. Yeah, anyway. I do like that that mad scientists and evil scientists are a common
yeah.
like superhero comic book trope. Always hits home. Because scientists get I feel like they get away with too much. You know? They're like, oh well, it's for science. And they kind of get away with a lot of stuff. Like sending dogs to space to die.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, definitely. There's been. I mean, also you don't have to look too much further than like World War II Germany to see some terrible science happen. Even World War II America, you
Oh
see
yeah,
people.
or just animal testing for fucking
Yeah,
products and just terrible
yeah.
shit.
I mean, obviously, I like science, but yeah, I think that unchecked science is as bad as unchecked anything else, right? It's worse maybe because uh, of what goes into it. But anyways, I don't know. Do you have much more about Guardians?
I don't know, man. I really liked it. I was pleasantly surprised. I kind of endured the first two and a half Guardians movies because I also watched the Christmas special, which was it was fine.
Yeah,
But yeah, this third one was a pleasant surprise. Yeah, I was pretty blown away. Great action, emotionally involving. I actually cared about Rocket. Even the first movie, I was like annoyed by Rocket. I was like, "Geez, this guy's kind of an asshole." And now by the third one, I'm like, "I love this little raccoon. Like he
yeah.
saved the baby raccoons. I love this guy." And then I was like, "You can't just save the raccoons. You got to save all the animals." And then he saves all the animals. And I'm like,
Of
"Oh,
course.
Rocket Raccoon, I love you." So yeah,
Yeah,
I came around.
nice. I'm glad you liked it. I was Marvel got pulled. This was definitely I put this in the bin, no doubt. And I was like, what do I pick? Right? There's so many options. And I know I'm a bigger Marvel fan, but one, I kind of thought you'd like this one too. I think Guardians 3 is actually just like a legitimately good movie where
Yeah,
some Marvel like I do like Infinity War and Endgame, and I think they had cool build up and whatever. But I mean, I can't imagine trying to watch either of those without so much other stuff going in. Like, if I
right.
was to sit down today and someone was like, watch Infinity War, I probably wouldn't because if I had never seen anything leading up to it, I'm not going to watch 20 hours plus of movies, right? So,
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, this was great. And yeah, definitely you need a little bit of background on it, but frankly, like if you just threw on Guardian, nah, you'd probably there's a lot of characters. So you'd probably need to watch at least all three Guardians movies. But yeah, it's a great way to end a trilogy. I'm I was very happy with it. I'm in on James Gunn. I'm in for Man of Tomorrow. I'm excited for it. I think it'll be cool. Uh
is he doing
so
Supergirl also, or is that someone else?
No, he's like overseeing the whole DCU
Gotcha.
basically. But Supergirl is directed by Craig Gillespie, and Clayface is directed by someone else whose name I cannot remember off the top of my head. But I think he's maybe like a horror director.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
yeah, so he's not directing everything in the DCU. But the next thing he's directing is Man of Tomorrow, which I believe is supposed to be, I don't know if this is 100% confirmed. I believe it's supposed to be Superman, Lex Luthor, and Brainiac. And that's sort
Oh,
of a continuation of the Superman story, I guess. I don't know if they'll be introducing more characters. They're apparently supposed to be working on a new Batman. Obviously, they have the Batman Part 2 that's supposed to come out in 2027. So there might be a new Batman for the DCU because I don't think they want Pattinson slash Battinson in the DCU, even though I think that would be cool.
that'd be awesome.
I'm kind of torn because I love Battinson. I love the Batman. I might pick the Batman at some point. Great movie. Fantastic movie. You've seen the Batman, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. That's a great movie. But so I'm excited for part two. But I would kind of like to see him like how would he fit in with this Superman? Like just emo Batman and then this sort of like optimistic Superman could be kind of fun. But I also kind of just want more Batman. So I'm like, yeah, fuck it. Just why don't just have two Batmans? We can just have separate Batmans.
Yeah. Also,
Or
I'm
they
cool
might
with them
do
like doing a Batman thing that's not related still, and whatever.
yeah. I mean, they did do that with like the Joker. Those two Joker movies were just kind of their own standalone thing, separate from everything else. So yeah, I'm not really sure what they're gonna do. I feel like they might. I think they'll do the Batman Part Two. It'll come out, and that'll be the end of the Battinson, and then we'll get a new Batman because I think they want to do like the Brave and the Bold, and they want to do Batman and Robin, and kind of make it fit in the DCU a little bit. So which I'm fine with. I'm cool with. Maybe they'll do blue. We've never had blue Batman,
Yeah.
like not animated. So I think that'd be cool. So yeah, I'm in on James Gunn. I feel like he's grown a lot as a filmmaker. And yeah, I liked Guardians 3. There we go. Sorry
What'd you
for
give
all
it?
the sorry for all the side digs at Marvel to any Marvel fanboys listening.
I know we are making a Marvel podcast. I have to say, I'm a big Marvel fan. I mean, I'm saying this at the end, like I'm defending myself, but I've read comic books my entire life. I have a huge collection of comic books. I've got some graded comic books, um, some that are way too expensive,
Gotta
problematic,
brag
maybe.
about it, jeez.
Yep, that's right. Um, uh, I'm a big fan of the MCU all the way pretty much up until Endgame, and yeah, I find it tiring, and also I don't particularly like Disney as a company, and I don't know, whatever. But if you guys are out there, if you're watching this because you love Marvel still to this day, not that I don't love Marvel, but the MCU that's still happening. I hope you guys are. I mean, I'm curious. Like, what do you think is like the best thing for somebody to jump back into, right? Because like, I feel
Hmm.
like it's almost like I almost went to go see Thunderbolts, but I didn't. Actually, you saw Thunderbolts, didn't you?
I did see Thunderbolts. I think you could watch. I watched Thunderbolts kind of without seeing anything else, and I didn't feel lost or anything. It didn't knock my socks off or anything. I thought it was just okay. But yeah, you could watch Thunderbolts without. I think Bucky is in it, and he's
Yeah.
like Winter Soldier and all that type of shit. But I kind of just you kind of just figure it out. He's a senator or something, I guess. And then
Also,
he,
I like that's the big thing for me is like it doesn't have to do then with like the Winter Soldier Falcon, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show then.
I don't know.
I hope not. I mean,
I
that's
don't
what
have. I've never seen that. I will never see that. So I have no idea if it connects.
cool.
Probably, maybe there might be characters that come from that, but I didn't know that, and I just watched the movie and I was like, all right.
Good.
But I will say it's not like I wouldn't say
It's
you
a
have to
must
rush
watch.
out to see Thunderbolts. It was just it was all right.
Yeah. That's what like I like Marvel fans out there. What are we doing? Are we excited for Doomsday? Are we excited for I just
I
said
think
Doomsday. I mean, I'm excited for Doomsday, but not for
yeah,
Dooms.
Dune. I'm excited for
Um
Dune.
are we excited for Secret Wars? Like what are you guys up to? Are
I
you
think
guys watching
people.
everything?
I feel like people are probably excited for the new Spider-Man movie
Yeah,
because that
that's I
comes
mean,
out. Doesn't that come out pretty soon? Isn't it like this summer? Is it like
yeah.
May or June maybe?
I think it's May. Yeah. That's
That
exciting.
that's only 3 months from now. Is that has there even been like a trailer or anything?
Maybe. I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
so. I mean, I go to the movies quite a lot. I haven't seen a trailer for it.
Yeah.
Another little humble brag right
Yeah, jeez.
there.
Spider-Man Brand New Day.
um, but yeah, I don't know.
There's also Spider Noir, which is a TV show that's gonna be on like Amazon Prime, I think, or something. It said actually Spider-Man Brand New Day comes out July 31st.
Oh, I was wrong.
So yeah.
Like very end of July, so that's
Yeah,
like
the
way.
last day of July. So basically August. Um, so yeah, I don't know. But I guess we'll give our ratings.
Yeah, what'd you give it?
I gave it 4 stars out of 5.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. That makes me excited. Nice. I give it 4.5. Which
Nice.
did not change, I think, from the last time I watched it, but I think it's maybe a softer 4.5. I think I like it a lot, love it, but uh yeah, I don't know. Maybe this time I did sort of maybe somewhat feel the length a little bit more than I expected. I
Mm,
think the first time I watched it was in theaters and it was like I didn't
yeah.
give two shits. This time I kind of binged it with Guardians 2. I
Oh,
watched
that's long.
one a
That's like
different
five
day.
hours.
And yeah, so I think either way, I mean, 4.5 is awesome. So I love it. It's great.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, it definitely is a little bit long. It's 2.5 hours, but there's so many characters, and I feel like there's still stuff going on that I really didn't mind the pacing, and it kind of gave it a nice epic feel. So
Yeah.
I didn't mind the runtime.
I feel like I wouldn't have either, and I didn't the first time, but I think it is a tough double feature. I think I probably don't recommend the double feature. It's just long.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it makes sense. I mean, there's like 6 years between 2 and 3, so yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, the rating recap. This movie, let me tell you, it got a 7.9 out of 10 on IMDb, a 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd, 82% critic score, and 94% audience score, bringing it to an 8.4 out of 10 average. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. But very, very high marks. Probably one of the best reviewed Marvel movies, maybe of all time.
Yeah. I do kind of wonder what the like I think of this as one of the best Marvel, maybe the best Marvel movie, certainly in a long time, maybe of all time. If you're just looking at the MCU, um, and I wonder kind of what other people think. If you're still listening to us ramble this far in, what do you think about Guardians? Is it up there on the top of your MCU list? What do you think about the non MCU stuff like Blade? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, Blade's awesome. I think the Spider-Verse movies are up there in like general
Yeah.
consensus of what people like. But yeah, I mean, based on Letterboxd average rating, this one's like up there with the two Spider-Verse movies, Logan, and the two Infinity War and Endgame. Those are like the top six. And then there's like the Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 are also up there. So those are kind of the highest rated. I will say the first Guardians of the Galaxy is also pretty highly rated. So it seems like most people agree with you that the second one is the worst of the Guardians trilogy.
Yeah. But I think it
But
probably makes sense not liking or not having really invested too much in the rest of the MCU to like maybe not like the first one as much. When I was rewatching it, I mean, Thanos is in it and it's all about an Infinity Stone. I think to me, like, it's hard to separate how much I cared about like the buildup or if I just thought that it was like an interesting villain in the moment, right? But yeah, I think that's a difficult thing to separate
there was
having
the
been
I
involved.
think there was like a blue guy in that movie, right?
Yeah, Ronan.
Yeah, he was I didn't think he was a great villain. I don't know. I don't really remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was mainly the snarkiness. The snarkiness is just not a vibe that I enjoy.
Mhm.
Watch out. I think in Guardians 2, there's a part where maybe it's at the very beginning and there's something like crazy. There's like a crazy alien or something like that. I remember the beginning of Guardians 2, there's like a cool opening like sequence, like with opening credits or
Yeah.
something. But then someone like a big alien comes through a portal or something, and someone goes, "That's intense." And I'm like, "All right, do we have to do this?" Like a little annoying quip with all this shit. And I feel like the third one they really toned that down.
Hmm. Agreed.
So anyway, yeah, I mean, I guess that's all I really have to say. Should we pick our category for our next episode?
I think we should.
All right.
Um, yeah. If you've been
Yeah.
watching for a while, you know that what we do is at the end of our big episodes, we pick our next genre or category. It's always random out of this cup. We've got tons of stuff in here. Shane has it ready, locked and loaded.
If you're watching on YouTube, I got the cup right here. I'm picking our next episode will be our summer preview, so subscribe and check that out because that's always a fun episode. I'm sure there's already at least one or two movies that are like locks.
Mm-hmm.
There are at least for me. There's like a couple movies
Oh
this
yeah.
summer I'm super excited for. I'm picking the thing, picking the paper. Well, we're staying in Disneyland, Pixar.
Pixar.
All right.
Wow. We've
All
yeah,
right. Not I mean, I we're staying in a similar realm
we
here.
are. Actually, it's funny, not too long ago we had our top 250 um or highest budget one. We had our top 251 box office top 250. We had highest budget movies. Now we've had Marvel, now we're going to have
Yeah.
Pixar. Kind of a lot of similar stuff going on lately, which is not a bad thing. It's kind of cool to see. I think often we maybe lean into away from some of the mainstream stuff. Just I think just naturally, and it's kind of I think it's cool to explore some of the mainstream stuff on the
Yeah.
podcast once in a while.
Yeah, hey, it's in the bucket, you
It's
know.
bucket.
We did Gaspar Noé only a couple months ago, and now we're doing Pixar. So that's the variety you'll get on the Mind Your Movies podcast. So Ryan, do you think we should look and pick now, or do you want to save it and announce for the next episode?
I like the idea of saving it, and thinking about it a little bit, announcing on the next one. I will say just a few things that come to mind. Although I just rewatched both of these super recently, like within the past couple months, but the original Toy Story is such a amazing movie. Um, I think that's the reason I like horror so much is Sid's room.
Oh
Man,
yeah.
that guy's fucked up. And Wall-E, which I also rewatched pretty recently. And if if I didn't just rewatch one of those, I'd probably be between those two. But
Hmm. Yeah, this is There are a few Pixar movies I haven't seen. Obviously, I've seen a lot of them like when I was a kid. So I don't know if I'll pick one. Probably my favorite is either Wall-E or Soul. Those are
Mm,
probably my favorites. Also, The Incredibles is a cool movie.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I would probably if I pick something I've seen, I'd probably pick one of those. Or I will say probably the biggest Pixar movie that I've never seen is Ratatouille. So Ratatouille is definitely in the running for me. I
Nice.
know there's a little rat in his hat and he pulls his hair and he tells him how to cook, right?
Yeah. 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 Ironically, I don't think they ever make the dish ratatouille in the movie.
All right. Well, spoilers. Come on.
Yep.
Jeez. Oh my gosh. You
Sorry.
come here, you're trying to try. I told you I'd never seen the movie, and now you spoil the very end of the movie. I thought it was about making Ratatouille. I'm very bold for them to have such a tragic ending. They never get to make the meal.
Yeah. It's because the rat dies.
Oh my.
I'm just that's a joke.
I know. I know.
Anyone out there, that's not a
I
spoiler for
know.
Ratatouille. That'd be nuts. That'd be
Yeah.
nuts.
I, all right. Well,
Uh,
subscribe. We're on YouTube. We're on the podcast apps, Apple, Spotify, Amazon. So you can subscribe to us. You can scroll down, give us 5 stars if you're on the podcast apps. We'd appreciate it. Also, subscribe, leave a comment with your favorite Marvel movie or your favorite Pixar movie. Tell us what we should pick for next week. But regardless, thank you all for watching or listening this long. We appreciate it. And yeah, next week we'll do our preview and we'll announce our Pixar picks. So don't forget to mind your movies.